Turn down the music a little bit here, and I think we are good and ready to be live on YouTube. Okay. Hey folks, happy Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday everywhere in the world, right? I guess maybe not China, but whatever. We're here, we're ready to go live and work on the LDO Trident 300 Cube build. So this morning I put together the frame because that is so boring on stream, I think, and focusing on squaring things up really precisely is just not good content. So I dealt with that portion of things already, ready to roll. Now we can actually get to the more fun and interesting stuff with this build. This is an LDO Trident 300, so it's 300mm cubed build volume, theoretically. So thank you to Jason LDO Motors for providing the Trident kit with the space gray extrusions. They look so freaking good. Loving it. See if we... Up close view of those. Like, it just looks so good. And thank you to Fabrico for providing the Double T CNC gantry setup, or CNC 9mm belt setup, I should say. So this is one of the motor mounts for this setup. It is intended to run 9mm belts. So there's the belt that's going to go with this thing. So, yeah. This is going to be a basically all CNC build. This is the printed parts. Like, I've printed the printed parts for it. It's mostly skirts and Z-axis mounts. I didn't get those CNC. I thought about it. The only reason I didn't get CNC ones for the Z-axis is I want the inverted inverted electric mount, inverted electronics case. So like making that exactly how I wanted with CNC parts was going to be more difficult for the Z-axis. So I'm not that worried about that. Two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive? Two-wheel drive. Going with a pair of LDO superpower motors. These aren't necessarily the right ones for this, but they're what we're going to use. This kit calls for the 55mm ones. These ones are for like a K3. Viewer Josh Murrah, thank you very much to Josh, provided these for this build. LDO was out of stock of the superpower motors. And so I had, I was having trouble finding the motors that I needed. They're coming back into stock. I wanted to get rolling on this build, and so Josh provided these motors from one of the projects he's not getting to. So, yeah. All right. I think we're about ready to start actually getting this thing put together. The shaft is so long. Yeah, it is. Secret collaboration with Titans of CNC. Yeah, I wish. No. No. Just getting this thing put together with some serious quality parts available. Links in the description to the parts that are available for this. Fabrico provided. Thiago, I'm sorry if that's not the way your name is pronounced, if you're here or seeing this in hindsight. Double T created the CNC design that we're putting together here, and I think it's pretty sick. I might as well show you. I want to refer to it. As I'm going off script from the general Voron instructions, I'm going to have to be looking at the CAD model to get this dialed in the way that I want and all of that. So, is this my first Trident? It'll be the first Trident for me. I've built Trident before. I built the Trident at Earth, and that might be the only Trident I built. Jose, welcome! That might be the only Trident I've built. I don't remember. Yeah, think so. So I've built a Trident before, but this will be the first one for myself. And obviously a lot of it's going to be different because there's not much Voron design about this one. Alright, I'm going to pull up the CAD file real quick and screen share. So bright screen coming in now. Alright. Nope, music ducked away. Oh well. This is the CAD model of just the CNC components. Actually, I have the CAD model of the full build. I might as well show you that too. Being a little slow to load, but there it is. This is the full build as it will be. So I put together the full build design so I could visualize everything. So it's going to have dual auxiliary part cooling fans for a lot of part cooling. That CNC 9mm belt setup all the way around. A Zoll tool head. I hate the way it looks, but you know, this build is about performance. So got to suck it up and just go with what's going to allow me to test out different stuff. Not keeping it unenclosed. It will be an enclosed machine. As you can see by the Nevermore back here at the back for filtration. I just don't have the panels on the CAD just to make it easier to see. And the stealth skirts. I've remixed the stealth skirt design a little bit to use a screen that you can actually get. Is this the all-out Voron on the budget, on the LTT budget? No, this is not. Actually, there will be another. That's going to be a Voron 2.4, where we were calling it the kind of LTT budget Voron. No, this is, I mean, this one's not far off, I guess. But the other one's going to go even further than this. So we'll cross that bridge when we get that build started. I'm waiting on some last minute parts. I've been using the gray room in Fusion. I really need to start doing that. I always forget to switch. It's the only thing that I do this with. Anyway, so when working on a project like this, since there's no there's instructions and there's information about this kit on GitHub for the CNC gantry setup. For me, I find just looking at the model is going to tell me almost everything I need to know about, like, you know, your shim stack order, you know, how your components go together. This kit has, let me switch back to the kit coming from Fabrico. As you see my OBS here, here's where I could really use a Stream Deck. It uses like CNC machine spacers and such for instead of pins. Like, this will thread together and all of that. Do I have an affiliate link for LDO kits? I do, kind of. I either go through Matter Hackers for affiliate links or West 3D. Parts for this one are provided by Fabrico, so I've got a Fabrico links in the description, but I'm not an affiliate with Fabrico. They're just kind enough to provide parts for my projects. So anyway, I can pull up the model real quick, reference what hardware I might need where, etc. So I just want to take a quick brief look at this to make sure I know what I'm looking for. Where the heck are my parts? Oh, okay. Doesn't have the T-nuts in here. Alright, well. Okay, back to the chat. Okay, so I gotta get a couple of T-nuts in here. I'm just worried that I'm gonna put the T-nuts in the wrong direction and end up interfering. This is the wrong side. I need this side. So that's got to go there around the corner extrusion with that butted up to it ish. So what combination of the T-nuts is going to allow for minimal interference in that way? Looks like this direction. Yeah, I think they both got to face forward, it looks like. I think. Hopefully I'm right. Move that out of the way. I installed and greased the rails on the I think this is M5 by 8s. I hope I have enough hardware for this too. Oh, great. Doesn't say. Pretty sure they're M5 by 8s. I'll just pull up the Fabrico. I forgot to order specific hardware for this, so I'm gonna cannibalize the kit from LDO to get the hardware. Excuse me, the hardware I need for M5 by 8. That doesn't seem right. Yeah. Alright, whatever. Play it by ear. Yeah. The standard ones are M3 by 10, or M5 by 10. So maybe we'll try those first. M5 by 10s. M5 by 10. I should have sorted the hardware before this, but I've been putting off this build for too long. I really need to get rolling with it. That does look like it might be right. Alright. I just need to get rolling with this build, so kind of an is what it is situation. I'd rather start the build than spend months prepping for the build and never starting it. Hex wrench. Little pro tip, I always use a hex wrench to help line up T-nuts when I'm putting things together. Really makes my life easier. Yeah, I've got various screw organizers. It's just like, you know, when I did the earth, ooh wow. A whole thing of Loctite came out of there. Like when I did the Trident build at Earth, we had bins with all the hardware. Oh, what color on printed parts? Good question. Let me drop a little Loctite on here and then I will show you. And get the screw started. Yeah, it feels like it should be like M3 by 12. That is, or M5 by 12. That is barely holding in there. Oh well. Loctite's happy to see you, I guess. Yeah, well, we're buddies. It always makes a mess on me, that's for sure. What's a little mess among friends? It really feels like it should be longer. It's like barely engage a thread and it's tight. I don't love that. I don't love that, but it's also black hardware, like the black coated hardware from LDO, which I would prefer to use. Green and purple choker build. No, thank you. Well, I was trying to find some parts that would really show, but here's the color scheme. It is Galaxy Blue from Polymaker, Galaxy Blue ASA, so it's the sparkly blue. Then it's also dark gray is the main color, so instead of black I'm using dark gray to match the space gray of the frame. Light gray in for like a light color accent, which is only really on the skirts for the most part and on the tool head, and then the Galaxy Blue for the accent color. How's the 2.4? Heard it was down on the V3 or Ender 3 stream. Yes, it's the fancy skirts I had on Twitter. Yes, they're for this build. Exactly. Exactly. My live feed on the computer is acting up. Seems fine. I got the stream up on the TV in front of me. That's fine. 2.4 is back up and running. I replaced the clicky probe with a PCB clicky, and that was giving me trouble. And then I don't remember. I got a new clicky in. I ordered like overnight off of Amazon. New PCB clicky. Swapped that in, and that one seems to be behaving properly. There's still a bunch of work I want to do to that one, and I might, depending how quick this build goes, we might get to that this week. Here's the fact of the matter. Ruby's going out of town. She's going to visit her dad, my father-in-law, for the week. And while the wife is away, I will play. So I'm probably going to do like quite a few live streams this upcoming week to try and get a few of these projects that I've been putting off for way too long done. Along with this, I've got a LDO V0.2 build using Cookie CAD. I'm the first person in the wild, as far as outside of beta testers. I'm the first like official person to have LDO or not Cookie CAD ABS. So it's like it's a colorful masterpiece. I am so looking forward to that build. I don't remember where I put the printed parts for it at the moment. They're probably... Yeah, I think they're on the other side of the studio right now. So, yeah, so we're going to be building a V0 this week too, probably. I want to get that done. And if I have time, I'll make some time to do some upgrades on my 2.4. My 2.4 has a couple of limitations right now. It's got... The hot end doesn't flow enough for me. And the mechanical system, there is something wrong in the motion system where it's just the... I could pull it up real quick. The what do you call it? The input shaper graphs. Look, the shaper calibrates, they look terrible. Pull this over to a screen where I can see it. Wrong. Ultimate Voron 2.4, I think I put it in. Yeah, input shaper comparison. Pull this onto the... Everything's off on the different screens. Switch to this screen share. Yeah, this is the input shaper graph on x-axis, I think. This is the x-axis on my 2.4. And this is the y-axis on my 2.4. It's like all over the place. It's recommending 2 hump and only 4,700 acceleration. And then X is recommending 3 hump and 1,900 on acceleration. Nothing's loose. It's just... It doesn't sound bad. There's no crunchiness. There's nothing I can find. But this graph is crunchy. So, yeah. So, I'm kind of thinking... I've got a common anomaly gantry. That really nice, like, cast aluminum gantry. CNC cast aluminum. I've got one of those. I've got a CNC toolhead carriage mount. And I've got the Drop Effect Next G. So the Drop Effect Next G hot end, their new hot end. Hold on, I've got one out of the box. This is a prototype unit, so the new one looks different than this, but the release version looks different than this, but it's basically a dragon with a ceramic heater on it. This is from Drop Effect, but Drop Effect is owned by Fadus now. And it comes, this is the UHF version, so it has the extended melt zone of the, with that nut like the Rapido 2.0 with the UHF version has. So, but the size of this is a lot to get into, but I was basically able to fit it into a standard Stealth Burner print head. So I can get the UHF high flow, ultra high flow version of it into, I can actually fit it into a V0. I've already done that as well. I was able to fit this ultra high flow into, it's a much smaller UHF Rapido. Yeah, pretty much. But there's issues here. I actually emailed the, I don't want to get too much inside baseball, but I actually emailed the, I'm pretty sure the owner of Drop Effect, or the original owner of Drop Effect anyway, and expressed some opinions about where they need to go with this product, because everybody keeps asking me why would they buy this Dragon version of it when you could buy so many other Dragon options. That's a whole different topic. But anyway, that should flow better and unleash my flow limitation on my 2.4. Right now I'm running a Rapido with a CHT nozzle, and I'm capped at like 30 day-to-day usable flow rate. And for what I'm doing, it's just not quite enough. Like I'd love to be closer to 40 for my work. Like there's times when I'm trying to get projects done and I really need to bump up the infill speed or something to get a print done quicker, and I can't do it. Between that acceleration limit with the crunchy graphs on the input shaper. Nuno, you asked about the input shaper, the accelerometer mounting. I tried 3 different methods for testing. You actually just saw 2 different sets of graphs. So I used the Big Tree Tech nozzle mount. I mounted it to the nozzle, but it comes with squishy washers, and I really felt like it was allowing the accelerometer to jiggle. And I did not feel that was giving accurate readings as a result, because that graph at the nozzle looked worse than the 2 I just showed you. I then mounted that same accelerometer, that same Big Tree Tech accelerometer, to the side of the tool head, the Stealth Burner's accelerometer mount that has the mount to the side, because that was close to the nozzle but more solidly, rigidly mounted. So I put it there, I ran it, and then last I ran, since it has an EBB 2209, the Stealth Burner can board with built-in accelerometer, I also ran that. So I've got graphs from all 3 of them saved. Actually, I didn't save the nozzle one because they were so junk. So I've got the 2 different accelerometer readings off the tool head board and off of that mount on the side of the Stealth Burner, and they were almost identical. Like, I can pull it back up. You can actually see they're very similar. You probably didn't even realize I was showing you 2 different sets of graphs. Yeah. Bloop. This graph is with it mounted to the side of the tool head with the stock Stealth Burner location. And this graph is, damn it, knocked my mouse over. This graph is the accelerometer on the Stealth Burner board. Or no, I'm sorry, this is the one on the side of the tool head. This one is like, they are almost identical. I'm going back and forth. They are so close. And these are 2 totally different ones. You know, I just realized I think it might be combining multiple passes, though. So I could be getting some messed up results. I might need to go in and rerun with delete everything that's there and run a fresh run now that I'm looking at this. All right, whatever. New setup is sick. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, back to actually building a Trident. So, hopefully we'll get to the 2.4. Yeah, unfortunately that Next G, I really like the Next G. I like what they're doing. I haven't run it yet to see if it's going to meet the flow that I want. But unfortunately, the version that I've put together is not available to the public. It's actually, I used parts that only I as like a beta tester have available to me, so it definitely looks like a mechanical issue. I agree. There's something wrong in the mechanics of that, I think. I noticed when I had it apart this week, I tightened a few things, and a couple screws felt loose. Those graphs were after I tightened everything. But I noticed it looks like I might have a shim stack wrong on each end of my carriage, because like when I tightened the ends of the carriage for the shim stacks, I swear the prints are like angling downward, like the shim is missing or spacing is wrong or something. I built that machine somewhere between 2.4 R1 and 2.42 R2 coming out, so like it's possible that parts got mixed up. I don't think there was any changes that should have caused that, but it's possible. Anything's possible. So. But if I tear it down, Maple Leaf Maker's in the house. Welcome. But if I tear it down and I go to that common anomaly gantry and, you know, just give it a good solid once over, pull the rails out and lubricate them, do some maintenance. I mean, it's got almost 1,000 hours on it now. I've been running the heck out of that machine lately. It has been the machine I used the most in the past couple of months, and I'm that's why I was really annoyed when it was down this week, because like I was trying to get parts for this build done, and so I had to go to my bamboo to do it, and I didn't want to. I wanted to keep going on the 2.4. Always liked the idea of building a Voron, but no idea where to start. Any suggestions? Cheapest place to start is a V0. It is not the easiest to start with. It's like, it's easy because it's small, but it's also difficult because it's small. Like, you have to, like, you just saw me roll in nuts into here. That's how you assemble a 2.4 or a Trident. The 0, you've got to slide in M3 nuts and you can't put them in afterwards. So if you screw up and you don't put the right number in, you're screwed up. I really personally like building V0s. Like I said, I hope we're going to build a V0 yet this week. I also have my 0.1 that I'm going to be doing a 0.2 update on, that hopefully we'll get to at least the teardown on that this week, so I can get like some parts planned out better. Have I done any further? Least forgiving if you don't follow the manual exactly, but the easiest. I agree. That's a really good way of looking at it. Once you've built one, or you really pay attention to the instructions, it's easy to build a V0. Emil, the hardened nozzles from AliExpress, the CHT clones on that bamboo, I didn't do a follow-up on that. I wore them out in less than 1 kilogram of filament. I did, actually, before I even posted that video, the Ultimate Bamboo video, I actually already had tested them by that point. I just didn't, that video was already long enough. I didn't want to go back and hit it again. I used glow-in-the-dark PLA, and I did 800 grams of glow-in-the-dark PLA printing. In fact, I see some of them. I printed my Nuka-Cola bottle design that I have on Thangs. I printed this in glow-in-the-dark. I printed this little ghost in glow-in-the-dark. I printed like a half dozen prints in glow-in-the-dark, and wore that nozzle out. That hardened nozzle, CHT clone from AliExpress. Sure, it's cheap and you can go through them, but that was kind of my point, is like, I'm running the E3D high flow Obsidian hotend in my bamboo. I don't have to do anything. That's it. I can run that thing for probably 1,000 hours and I'll be fine. They do say that glow-in-the-dark may wear it out, and I don't print glow-in-the-dark that often, so I don't know if I'm going to test it. Maybe when they're a little more readily available, I'll put it through a real solid glow-in-the-dark torture test. We'll see. Part cooling on the V0 is your problem. I print almost exclusively ABS and ASA these days, and especially on my V0, that's all I print on it. So, but I'm adding on my V0, so the printed parts for it are under my desk here. It's getting auxiliary part cooling. So it's getting a 7530 fan, blower fan I've got somewhere around here. It's going to go in here and provide auxiliary, curtain across the bed cooling on my V0.2 build. So, yeah. Obviously for my green one, my main one. No problem with cooling if you have a dragon burner. I just don't like the way the dragon burner looks. I'm sorry to be that guy. I don't like the way the dragon burner looks. I got the parts for the V0 here under the desk. That's old. Where is it? Nope, that's old. I designed, nope, old. Jeez, how many old parts do I have in here? It's kind of my catch-all spot for Voron parts at the moment. Oh, I know where they are. Yeah. I designed I think there is somebody else put one out now, but I designed one originally. It's an LGX mount for the mini stealth burner. So I use the same filing system. Yeah. So I'm going to be running an LGX extruder, same the way I am now on my 0.1 when it goes to 0.2 with a converted stealth burner or mini stealth burner that I made. So the part cooling is okay. The curtain will provide when I need to push things a little harder for me. I would have run dual auxiliary cooling on that, but I'm going to run a Nevermore because of ASA. So yeah, I'm looking forward to get a second 0 in here this week. I am looking forward to that. Okay, so so far this stream I've gotten 2 mounts installed. It's okay. I knew that. That's part of why I put the frame together this morning off stream, because I knew that was how it was going to go. I got 2 6028s for curtain air and 12 volt overvolted 3010s. 0 cooling issues. Perfect. Perfect. M5 here needs a little better drop in. Boop. This roll in needs to be a little better. I mean, there we go. All right. Yeah, this is getting auxiliary part cooling. It's getting twin auxiliary part cooling, and I'm actually robbing the 120 millimeters out of these. I found the fans in these bamboo auxiliary part cooling to be really good quality. So they cost a little more than some of the other options off of AliExpress, but I had a spare one from when they sent me the P1P. They sent me one of these to put in the P1P, but then I got a P1S upgrade kit that also came with one of these, so I had a spare one. So I just had to buy one. So I'll have twin. I'm not going to use these ducts. I've got the ducts that are meant for a Trident, but yeah. There they are. That. And actually there's one of the fans in there right now, so that'll mount like that, blow across the bed. So all right. Right. Yeah. These don't feel long enough. I should check. This is one of those where it feels like 5x10s feel too short. 5x12s feel like it might be too long. I'm gonna look at the instructions and make sure I'm not missing some. Well, not really full-on instructions for this setup. Kind of just images. Yeah. Look at the cat again. It's calling for 10 millimeters. All right, it's calling for 10 millimeter screws. Is what it is. Calls for 10 millimeters. We're going with 10 millimeters. You like how clean the Voron and the Persia look, and then the Ender 3 has boxes on it. Yeah, the Ender 3 is still out of commission. I emailed Creality after the stream unboxing that, and they got back to me, but they asked me to send them a video of what's happening. I was tempted to just link them to the stream and be like, here you go. Bearded Bucket in the house, welcome! Welcome! Alright. Thiago, Double T, the designer of this, gave me some tips on putting this together. The CNC setup that we're using here. And it was to assemble everything on the bottom side first so you can build the stacks in place. As far as like everything on the top side is concerned, which makes perfect sense. So we'll just use the bottoms being in place to then build our shim and bearing stacks. And then put all our parts in. I might as well put these in as well. The carriage parts for the bearings. Linear rails. That's the words I mean. Linear rails. What hardware do we need for those? That should probably be standard, I would think. I think this calls out XY joint, hardware, and 3x8. Yeah, cool. That I can do. That I can do. Play the game, play the game. Where is everything? And I'll pull out, oh, and 3x8. Here they are. All right. So, which ones go forward? I'm looking at this upside down and backwards, I feel like, so I need to be sure that I'm looking at it right. Okay, yeah. This goes back. So this is this side, and this is this side. Let me move that camera so I can get a close-up. Think that should be good? Looks like it's good. Alright, so... Not really. Oh, you know what? I'm still digitally zoomed in. That's why everything feels a little funky to me. Hey! That's better. I digitally zoomed in at the end of the last stream and I totally forgot about it. Whoops. Alright, so... This part on here. I've been zoomed in on the whole stream so far. Alright, that's better. Remember, folks, if you're not already, this is the Mandic Labs channel, the stream channel, and kind of the more experimental things channel. So... if you're not already subscribed or dropping the video a like so it helps people find the other channel, the second channel, please do so. Much appreciated. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers mark on the new channel. So, much appreciated if you can. Alright, I'm going to leave these. I'm leaving everything I'm not tightening anything yet as I got to get everything assembled. Get all the parts in before I go tightening everything. And squaring and whatever, so. Alright, these at least grab in nice. Plenty of length. Like the smash button, chat. Yeah, that. Thank you. That. All them typical, stereotypical YouTube things. Beat the heck out of that there button. Those buttons. Alright. I could do, since I'm doing the double T on this, I could do monolith gantry on the 2.4. What's monolith? I'm not familiar. I probably know what it is if I saw it, but I don't know. Oh, shamelessly steal Nero's. Yeah, I was debating what other options to go with on the 2.4 because I've got another 2.4 build coming, where the ultimate 2.4, as I call it, where I'm going to be going like all out on it, and that I have the common anomaly gantry for just because it's bling as hell. That's the primary reason for it, you know, honestly. Not necessarily like it's the best option. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Similar mod to Double T. All right. I've got, for that build, I have Physec sent over CNC motor mounts, and actually they sent a whole CNC kit for the 2.4 build. I'm only going to use a few pieces from it because it's such a modified kit that it doesn't really... Most of the parts won't be useful for me, but they couldn't provide me just pieces. They had to provide me a whole kit, so... Yeah. That's the thing. That build is, like... Not necessarily the best parts. It's just meant to be like the most overkill, ridiculous kind of. For the most part. Alright, I think we're ready to flip back over. Ready to flip back over. I can zoom in just enough to get rid of this. My borders. Sorry, moving the camera angles and shit around. There's the cinematic borders at the top and bottom I'm trying to lose. Okay. Wow. Cool. Cool. Who doesn't love an over-the-top build? Yep. You can do 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, 6 or 9mm belt with 0 print volume loss. Cool. I'll have to look into that. If I could go 9mm belts, I'd really like that. But I can't with the parts I have right now for that build anyway. So maybe I could put the CNC parts I currently have on this 2.4 and then do something over the top different on 9mm on the other one. Because the other one, this one is my daily driver, run it every day machine. This machine right here, I have one more drink. It's back here. This machine's meant to be my rapid prototyping machine. So this will be the machine when I just need something done, like yesterday. That's the goal of this machine. My 2.4 is my workhorse. This is going to be my, like, get it done 5 minutes ago project build. So, we'll see how that works out. Alright, time to start stacking some bearings. I think. Alright, I gotta pull up the... Alright, I'm gonna start at the front here and work my way. What's that? Okay, nope. It's built in. Cool. So I just need one of these and a bearing stack. So the bearing stack for these, I've got Honey Badger freaking over-the-top bearings. Where did I go? Fabrico provided for this. There they are. Honey Badger bearings. You can't see where I'm working at, but I got them bling, you know, ceramic bearing setups for this. So I'm gonna move that camera angle real quick so you folks can actually see where I'm gonna be working. Changing camera angles. Okay, now I should be able to do that. Why does it look Oh, sorry. I did that. I thought I was on the other camera angle while I was changing that one, I think. Alright, so what we use is a flange washer, or flange bearing, a regular bearing, and another flange bearing to create a triple bearing stack that is, pretty sure, is the bearing build out for this. Ooh, this is a tight fit. That is a tight fit. I think this is right. Yep, it's just a tight fit. That's all. All right. Where's my little hammer? Give you a little tippy tap. Got the premium bearings. Yes, this is 9mm belts. Premium bearings to smack them with a hammer. Just tapping on the inner race, just to drive them down a little bit. Yeah, just so they're good and started. There we go. Trusty tiny hammer for just those light little operations. Boom. And that is our front idler. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side, except obviously the reverse stack orientation. Yep, same thing in reverse. We can do that. Got these bling aluminum standoffs. Came with the kit. Remember this kit, this is the Double T kit. Double T 9mm belt setup available from Fabrico, the Honey Badger kit here. Oof, that is such a tight fit. Disconcertingly tight. It's just, you know, when something's such a precise tip tap, just a precise, just got to get it so right. There we go. Alright. Now, next one. I wonder why I have a bearing problem. You'll be hearing me say in the next stream. I'm going to get a socket real quick that'll really help me press on the... I just got a pair of smooth jaw Knipex. I need to get a set of those. I really do. The Cobra wrench or whatever they call them. I got a 5mm socket here, so it'll pass over the machined part, no problem. So it'll pass over the machined part, but it'll only strike on the inner race. So I can just give this a little tap, and yeah, and that. I'm actually going to an event next month where Knipex will be there, and I really need to bug them and be like, hey, you don't know how big you are in 3D printing. We need to work together. So I used to like do some stuff when I sold, or well, when I sold tools, obviously, but when I reviewed tools, I covered some of their stuff. But it's one of those, like, these companies don't know the markets that they're in, that they're appealing to, because like, why would they think about 3D printing? I guess. I'm sure someone there knows, but tip tap, tip tap, tip tap. Now, I don't know if I should have been sanding these to make them a smoother fit now that I'm thinking about this. Like, should it be more? Probably. because they're anodized, so like I wouldn't think to sand them, but I wonder if they're not meant to be a little more free spinning, like they're, well, no, now that they're really in place, they're freer to move, to find their own home. So the belts can ride how they need. If it needs to slide a little bit for misalignment, it can, and all of that. Oh well, there's our second one. Second stack in place. First stack. Cool. Really, I can put the other halves of those on now. The only thing I dislike here, could use a vise. My vise is on the other side of the shop, not here. The hammer works perfectly fine. I'm using a socket, so I'm only striking on the inner race of the bearing. So I'm not doing any damage to the bearing. It's striking on the part that's meant to have that type of load, where I'd be pressing if I was vicing anyway. They're like so close. It's just such a close to interference fit that it is what it is. Okay. The only thing I dislike about this is, and beggars can't be choosers, is Fabrico got me the black brackets. I wish they would have gotten me gray ones, you know? Like, to make this look just right. Gray with the blue would have been perfect. But Fabrico provided the parts for this build. Thank you very much to them, so I cannot complain. And it's still gonna look sick. Like, black goes with everything, so is what it is. Thank you, Hector, for providing the parts. Now I just gotta... Yeah. Who's going to Rocky Mountain? Reminds me. Who's going to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap? Wrong side. Yeah. I want... This has... It has a little guide point. Like, it's got to be over that. Whoop, as I pull it out of there with it. So... Yes. Alright, Randy, Bearded Bucket, Tor. Cool. I'm trying to get there. I really want to go. I've just got to make sponsorships happen, pretty much. So we shall see. I reached out to one company I thought would be a good sponsor for it, and they agreed to it, but they were offering way too little. It's like, look, I just want to pay for my trip so I can get there. That's it. Just sponsor it. I'll any videos or whatever. And they didn't really meet my terms, so I gotta find somebody else. Unfortunately, I've been going to too many shows, doing too many things for the last year or so. I need to make it pay for itself, you know. And those videos only do so well, so. They're great for meeting people, getting to actually see you folks and talk to you, and more than just like this capacity. This is great, but you know, a more in-depth capacity, and yeah, so hopefully I'll get there. Hopefully. Come on, Loctite. Loctite, just like anti-seize, you don't get enough until you get too much. I need to get those, like, paste tubes of it, Loctite. I'm going to push these all the way forward so they're butted up against the extrusion, and then tighten them. All right. Cool. Tighten. 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 Cool. All right. Second verse, same as the first. To the other side we go. I do want to. I'm going to crowdsource some opinions here, because I am going to be electronics bay on this is going to be both inverted. Yeah, the gel stuff. That's what I need to get. You know, they just, I don't think they have it at the local hardware store, and every time I remember that I need some is like when I'm there. So I'm going to be doing inverted electronics bay and because the board that I'm running on this build is the LDO Leviathan. And this thing just, if you haven't seen it, I think it's a gorgeous board. It looks so good that I feel ridiculous about the idea of hiding it. Like, there it is. So the LDO Leviathan board, and then I got a Pi 4. It has this beautiful black heatsink on it too. So it just matches it really nicely. And I don't want to hide it. And so I want this to be a visible part of the build. And yeah, I'm trying to kind of start doing a little more showcasey build stuff, I think. Because why not? Why not? And it's kind of like bring my custom car background into this. Let's switch up here. There. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out what layout. It's going to have a clear acrylic top on it for the electronics box. And Thiago, the Double T, also has this design. It's an aluminum bottom panel that it get done by Send Cut Send. He got done, or anybody could do it, obviously. So it's going to be a solid aluminum bottom panel for the deck, and then all of the power supplies, the SSR, the board, they're all going to have specific specific placements, hole placements. So they'll be threaded into the bottom panel, so you won't have a bunch of just random stuff stuck anywhere. And like clean is the goal. But you know, then I have to consider cable management. I'm trying to figure out what orientation I want things in. Like, let me see if I can open it here. Yeah, here it is. The way he originally intended this setup was like this, where you have your power supply, your 24 and your 48 volt on opposite sides of the deck. Your board can go in the middle, etc. I started playing around with putting it like, take a second to load here. Like this here, with the two PSUs at the back and the board front and center, where it'll be most visible when you look down into the machine, right there at the front. And then I feel like this orientation will let me have the USB cables kind of hidden by the front corner here. Like, I figure you'll probably look at it like this mostly. I could probably fit a fan right here to blow that way across the stepper drivers. You do have the cross flow of the part cooling fans over there blowing across it too. This is a Zoll. This is getting Zoll, yes. And yeah, so I'm debating. I don't know. Like crossways with the board, having it go from right to left would allow for better airflow and allow me to put like a bigger blower fan or something blowing across the stepper cooling, the heat sinks. But it's going to have less quality cable management for the USB connections at least. The other problem I have is the SSR back here, and then I'd like to have a terminal block for live voltage, for wall voltage. So I'm not sure what to do here. Surround the board with cable raceways. I despise the look of cable raceways. I really hate the way cable raceways look. I think they look like you just didn't try. No offense, folks. Like, I get that they're an easy way to do clean cable management. They're great. I don't want that. I want like my Trident, or not my Trident, my Mercury 1. So let me pull up my Mercury 1 if anybody's not familiar with the wiring on that. Like, that's all very intentionally wired. Like the T-shape kind of matches the bed. See, I like the T-shape. It's gonna leave a lot. I also like the idea of just leaving room. Bah. Pull it up here. As a content creator who works. Okay, shush. We don't want to hear from this guy. We just want to see his video. Creator who works with gotta find the point where the there it is. Boop. Pull up my electronics bay in this thing. Yeah, I want it more like my Mercury 1. So like intentional cable raceways, and like it'll still have cable management obviously, but like loomed cable harnesses and cleaner than this, hopefully. I honestly, the further I get away from this project, the less I like the way this ended up, but it's okay. So yeah, that's the goal. Something more like this. This is also getting a clear acrylic top on it eventually, so it can hide all that. All right, back to the project. It just means that everything. Oh, there's a lot of cons. There's a lot of cons to doing it that way. Like service, that the part of the reason that the Mercury 1 looks the way it does is because I had to change things. The CAN wiring wasn't working, so I had to switch up, add a U2C, and having to add a U2C meant that I ended up with things in different positions than when I started cable management. So, you know, I had to change routing of things, change where the CAN cable went to. Like things like that are not great. Is my Mercury 1. My Mercury 1 has a Fabrico edge-to-edge heater, 1000 watt AC voltage. Yeah, so. Not the stock bed by any means. It's got a Precise Printer Parts bed, cast MIC6 bed on it, and mains voltage heater. All right. Get out of there. Love when the Loctite's all just leaking all over the place, so I just have to rub it against the bottle. So great. All right, now I can push these forward. Yeah, everything forward here. Locked up against this extrusion. All right, feels pretty good. Tighten. I don't even have hardware in these pins now. When I was talking to Thiago about that, he said, you know, you really don't even need hardware in those, but you know, like, it doesn't hurt, obviously. And they also have these pretty aluminum hardware caps that go on there and give it a finished look. So I'm gonna put them in. All right, M3x8s. More M3x8s. Probably won't be able to reach that since it's under that extrusion. Nope, can. Cool. Blue Loctite. So of course we're not overdoing this. I have no raceways on my 2.4. All cables are tucked beneath the PSUs. Yeah, I mean, like, for serviceability, like, my 2.4 is it's a mess under there cable management wise because I work on the thing and it's my workhorse. I just want this to be a little more showpiecey, which is dumb, but it's reality. So, you know, like, cable raceways are excellent. I use them when I'm building machines for folks or just to get a project done with, because they make for a clean wiring setup quickly, and they're excellent. I'm just really freaking picky, and wiring is one of those things I like to be picky about. It's one of the things I really prided myself on when building cars, that I was pretty decent at quality wiring, and I kind of translate that over to this. And then I overthink things and kind of end up with a mess of projects and overdo it and etc. and it takes way too long. That's why I've never streamed wiring, or really I gloss over wiring in projects videos, because I just go way too overboard with it. I'd like to see, yeah, like I've had more than one person say they'd really like to see a video about that. I would too. I also love to do Brendan builds with his machines. He's done probably, in my opinion, some of the best like showpiece machine builds, and I think he yeah, you can totally do. Brendan has done that. If you've never seen Brendan's builds, let me see if I can pull up any of his, some of his, if there's any pictures I can find quickly of his builds. I know I put it in an Earth video a couple of years ago. Videos. Yeah, like, this is not a good view of it, but I'll show it anyway. Like, this is one of Brendan's builds, but you can see he's got, like, he did, like, computer individually sleeved cables, cable managed together all the way around this build. I think this is an iteration before he got it cleaned up. This feels like it's messier than I remember it being. So, like, I'd love to get with him and, like, do a video about that. Yeah, Brendan builds. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. He's also been into the 5-axis stuff. He works with the Do It people quite a bit. Yeah, that's Gucci. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I want to tighten these real quick before I move on. Where's my other hex wrenches? There they are. 2.5. Must be Steve Build's cousins. No, they don't look much alike. Brendan's kind of a little guy and Steve's not. Doesn't mean they couldn't be related. Custom sleeving an individual, yeah. I'm definitely not going individual cable length. Like I ain't got time for that. And also, I like to be able to look at things and know what they are and serviceability. And it's always my luck, you know. I custom sleeve a cable and then I have to flip motor terminals. You know, the middle two need to be flipped so I can get the motors oriented properly and, you know, buzzing right. And then, like, cool, now my wire lengths are just a little off. Dumb stuff like that. That happened on the Mercury 1. What also happened on the Mercury 1 is both Z motors went bad on it. Because I sent way too much amperage to the Creality motors. So I had to put... the motor's tension. Yes, the idlers are fixed on this with the 9mm. The motors will be our tensioning point. So the Z motors on the Mercury 1 went bad, so I replaced them with LDO motors. Well, now that puts my cables in different places. Like the minor things that always pop up. I should have like done a full shakedown before I cable managed it or something, but that's so much more time involved. You know, it's just the way these things go. Okay, I want to check where I'm at here. All right, I need the de-extrusion in here. I always start every Voron build with labeling all of the extrusions for what they are, so I can just grab them, put them in, and keep moving. That's just me. That's how I do a Voron build. Start by labeling everything. Ooh. Alright, I can load up M5 nuts in here a while. or M5 T-nuts. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know if we're going to get them. I'll probably temp mount the motors because I'm going to cut down the shafts on the motors. They're way too long. But I can get them temp mounted in here today. I'd like to get the gantry in, the X gantry. We'll see if we can get to that. I don't know. Well, I can't get it belted. I'm not going to get it belted today because I got to cut down the motors, and I don't see doing that. I'd have to go to the other side of the shop and leave you folks while I air up the air compressor, fire up the cutoff wheel, and then smooth it and blah, blah. And that's not happening. That's not happening. Where'd I put the... Oh, there. I can show you real quick, actually, now that I think about it. Let me grab the... Pulling up Fusion again. So, the way this system works, this 9mm, switch screens, scene. Okay. So yeah, the motors ride on sliders. There's slots in these mounts, and there's a slider in the middle there, like on a V0, and then this tensioner bracket. So you tighten this M3 screw here, and it'll pull tension on the belts. So that is the way the 9mm belt system tensions. The front idlers are fixed. I wish I had a cat cam going. Oh, you know what? I keep forgetting. I got the OBSBot camera, which is looking at nothing right now. That's silly. Let me fix that. It's a whole nother perspective I'm not using. It's a 3-camera stream, and I've only used 2 so far. For some reason, this one refuses to open on the same screen. Okay. Tail air. Let's switch to the OBSBot. Boop. There we go, another perspective. Cool. Alright. Just one more view on things. Forgot I had that set up. Alright. Now I can put this extrusion in. Ish. Alright. Now, this goes in. M5 by 10s hold it in place. I'm gonna get one started quick. And this is kind of really where I was told to do it this way, because the not the LDO, the Voron instructions would have you put the motor mounts together and then like sandwich this extrusion into place. And you really can't do that with the CNC parts because they don't forgive. They don't give. So there's no forgiveness in that way. No forgiveness. No goodness, forgiveness. Line up this T-nut. Cool. Anyone else notice VFAs on their 0 versus their 2.4? Still chasing the cause. I have quite a bit of VFA on my Zero. My 0.1 has quite a bit of VFA, but it's also got some crunchy rails that really need some servicing. Like, I've got to pull that thing apart and like alcohol clean. Like, I'm probably gonna fully disassemble the rails and like clean them out, grease pack them, and redo it. The other problem I think I'm having with that, that may be causing that, is I've never input shaper tuned it. And I think that's probably the two big problems there, really. But I do have quite a bit of VFA compared to my 2.4, absolutely. Okay, shim stacks here. Yeah, my Zero is one of my smoothest printers. Well, mine hopefully will be when it gets a rebuild. My the Zero going to 0.2 is getting ceramic bearings from West 3D. CNC gantry. CNC carriage, and just some various other things. So it hopefully, knock on wood, will be solid. Like, I still don't care. Like, it's got quite a bit of VFA right now. Honestly, the only thing that annoys me about it is it's noisy. Like, the chunkiness of the rails makes it like grindy noise. It's not grinding, but it's like a rubbing noise. It's weird and annoying. It drives me nuts. So, superpowers or just standards? Going superpowers on this one. What's the advantage of ceramic bearings? They're supposedly better for higher RPM spin and smoother. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But when you're talking about pushing really high speed where they could be rotating 10,000 RPM. They're not going to hit 10,000 probably, but they're rated, I think, to 10,000 RPM. So I don't know. It was pretty much a, if I'm going to go for it, I might as well go for it. Motor resonance will be the primary cause of VFAs on the Zero. Yeah, and the Zero has 1.8 degree steppers, not 0.9 degrees, so try TMC Auto-Tune. I love TMC Auto-Tune. I can't run it on my Zero currently because it runs a Pi 0, and I'm going to be switching it over to a Pi 4 when I do the rebuild on it. I installed TMC Auto-Tune, and it needed like Python 3 or something was a requirement, and it's an issue on the Pi 0. I've run into that. That's also why I've never input shaper tuned it. TMC Auto-Tune is great. It has helped me quiet down stepper motors. You can set them to quiet, auto, performance mode, and I feel like there's one more mode, sport mode or something. So it can help to tune the motor's curve to be like the power delivery and the way it steps to be more precise, more quiet. It just, I don't know. I've seen appreciable difference from running it. I think the newest version of Shake Tune is supported on the Pi 0 now. Okay. When I rebuild it, like very, very soon, it's getting a Pi 4. Like, I actually have the board right here, the back panel. So my hex back panel for Voron Zeros. Part of why I designed that was so I could put my own bosses on the back of it for all of my electronics. So it's getting a Pi 4. Clipper expander and SKR Pico will go here. So that's all just going to be mounted to it, booting it off of an SSD. So yeah, I could put a Pi 0 or a 2. I could temporarily run a Pi 4. I thought about doing that. I was really close to doing that. The only reason I'm not, the other reason I'm putting a Pi 4 on my Zero is I want a touchscreen on it. Heartk's Waveshare 2.8 inch touchscreen mod, you need a DSI output. And the Pi 0 doesn't have a DSI output. So I have to go to a Pi 3 or a Pi 4 to get that anyway. It's going to let me run TMC Auto-Tune and input shaper right on it. It's a Pi, that machine's running a Pi 02W, which can do input shaping. But input shaping also relies on Python 3, which the Pi 0 is stuck on like Python 2 something, 2.5 or something dumb like that. I'm running that screen in mod. It's fantastic. Scope out the stealth version. I wanted to do the stealth version. I really, really did. And I may still. Like, we're doing the stealth version skirts on this build, this Trident, because I really wanted to do it on the Zero. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if stealth's gonna fit that build. That like green and black just looks good with the stock hexes and everything. So we'll see. Okay, this one. I gotta do stacks, bearing stacks. Input shaping runs really well on the BT1 on the CB1. I've got a CB1 around here too. I got one of those around here. I might use that on another build soonish, hopefully. I don't know if you folks have seen it, but there's a project out there that takes the Ender 3 and you use the pieces from the Ender 3 with printed parts and turn it into an enclosed Core XY printer. I'd really like to build one of those out of one of my Ender 3s. And I think if I do that, I'm probably going to run the Manta M4P and CB1 in that. Because Big Tree Tech sent me those forever ago, and I've never had a use for them. So that'll be a good use case for it. Okay. Looking at my shims bearing stacks. Not Ender Wire. The Ender 3 NG. That's it. Ender 3 NG. Yep. Ender 3 NG. Yeah. No, not an Ender Wire. This is a fixed bed design. It's Core XY, not Core XZ. CB1 doesn't support CSI or DSI. Yeah. You'd be up for that. You want to see some stream? Cool. I'm sure folks will be interested in that. Okay, I'm going to try sanding these just a little bit. I hate to sand on these anodized frickin' things, but I want to try and make them go together a little smoother. You know, what I should do? Right back. I'm gonna grab a drill real quick. Just give him a quick spin and a drill. Yeah, I think folks will really be interested in that Core XY Ender 3. If you look into it, it uses a lot of the original components to make it happen. Like it's set up to run on Marlin and not have to be Clipper, and uses the original bed mounted to a printed bed setup with triple lead screws, but it uses the original Z motor and then just belts like the Bamboo or the Creality K1 for the Z-axis. They've clearly tried to keep it minimal on the parts you have to buy outside of an Ender 3, which I really like that. I really like growing out of an Ender 3 and then just still using the parts of it to build something else. I just can't decide whether... I've got a couple Ender 3s. My very first 3D printer was an Ender 3, and I'm like, I want to keep that, I think, just the original Ender 3 for nostalgia's sake. So I don't think I want to I don't want to sacrifice that one, I don't think. I feel like these were like machined exactly the right size and then anodized, which added 1,000th, you know, or however many to them. And I feel like that's why they're being a little finicky. No, it does not use a V-Will X gantry. It uses... Let's pull it up quick. Like, I'm talking about it. We might as well look at it. I think it's on printables. Ender 3 NG. It uses rods. So you do have to buy rods. Yeah. Here, I got to pull it up. Bloop. Ender 3 NG. There it is. So you have to get some linear rods and bearings, but then like the extrusions are all the extrusions from the Ender 3. Fan under the bed for chamber heating. Yep. Like that's the original bed on a printed gantry setup, or a Z-axis setup. Like they really tried. There's a Bowden tube setup, or you can run direct drive. You can mount the original electronics in the back. The SD card is accessible from inside. So like this is a really neat idea. I really like what they're doing here. Like the parts, the printable parts are free to download, but I think you've got to buy their instructions or something like that. Just like $1 on, you know, buy me a coffee or whatever. Yeah, there's the fan under the bed and the bed setup. You can use the stock board, I think. I don't know about stock or versus like an SKR board, but this is, you could compile Marlin to run on a stock board. I'm fairly a Core XY machine on a stock board. It's not going to be a stock configuration by any means, but it's doable. Marlin can run Core XY machines, and I would like to run this on Marlin, not Clipper, just to be like, fuck it, you know, not everything has to be Clipper. But I just love web interfaces so much. I love web interfaces so much, so I don't know. I don't like error. Octoprint. Not a fan of Octoprint. Beep. Alright. Enderwire is way more expensive. Enderwire is going to be a lot more expensive. It's going to be more expensive to build an Enderwire, and I'm over bed slingers. This is a nice tinker project. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really, I want to see how cheap I can do it. Because that's the thing. That's the only reason to do it in my mind. Is like, you're on a budget, you've got an Ender 3 already, use it. Like versus, you know, $1,000 for Enderwire kits sell for $350. Sure. I'm over bed slingers. Like I don't really care much for them at this point. I just got the Prusa Mark IV they sent over, and I'm liking it, but I don't know. Like I'm over bed slingers. For a lot of my use cases, they don't meet it. I don't really have any desire to build one. But then I didn't have a desire to build a Trident at one point, so. I've got 2K to spare. What should I really get a Bamboo Lab? I've noticed that they have the recall on the A1. Yeah, but the X1's been out for almost 2 years now. I've got 2,000 hours on my X1. I really like the X1. I like the A1 too. Mine's collecting dust waiting on the repair from the recall right now. But I still recommend Bamboos. Seems like right now they're overwhelmed support-wise with the recall being an issue. Got a P1S yesterday. P1S is a great machine. I still recommend them. They're trying to make the recall right. The X1 is still a great machine out of the box. Prusa has great support, but let's be honest, the Mark IV costs more than the P1P and works out of the box, zero assembly. Yeah, I mean, you can buy the assembled Mark IV, but yeah. You saw Daniel Modbot's video. I watched that this morning about the Dragon Burner. I just hate the way the Dragon Burner looks. It seems like an awesome setup. I can't get over the looks. I am too picky. I'm going to be running Zoll on this because the looks of the Zoll have grown on me. So I'm like, okay, I'll run Zoll. And also, I want a platform I can test things on. So with Zoll, I'll be able to like pretty rapidly change out hot ends and extruder assemblies. So this could be a test platform too for me. So that's kind of one reason I'm going that way on this. DB can grow on you too. I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can. Everything. I mean, like, I hated Zoll. I was like, no way. I'm never running Zoll. It's ugly. And they lean into that. I know they do. But I don't know. Zoll has grown on me, so maybe Dragon Burner will. It's just so square and boxy. At least Zoll has a little more shape to it. Assembled Mark IV will cost more than a P1P and is probably slower and also zero potential for ABS printing. You can print ABS and ASA, you just need an enclosure to get best results. Like my Voron, my Zero, my original Zero, you can get cat ears on Dragon Burner. Okay, you are going right to my heart with that one. I'm not going to argue. You're right. That is a selling point. My 0.1 was the printed parts for my 0.1 were printed on a Mark III, open air. Like, you can do it, just not as reliably. I would recommend the P1S over the P1P if you're going to go that way. I don't like, unless you know all you're going to print is PLA. Get the P1S, because then you have the potential to print other materials better, and it's cheaper than buying the upgrade kit later for the P1P. Now you're running a Dragon Burner and you really like it. I get it. I'm sure running it, I would probably feel a bit different about it, but what the hell is that? Is that a different setup? I'm trying to look at the CAD model and there's like a little funkiness here. Are there different standoffs? I thought all the standoffs are the same. No, they all look the same. Alright. Oh, god damn it. I did just sand both ends of this and I didn't need to. Need to mod your Dragon Burner before you run it. Or 8mm probe. What kind of probe are you gonna run? Oh, 8mm proximity probe. Gotcha. My V0 kit was a kit with printed parts, so I could get printed parts for a 2.4. I have a theme in mind for both, so I need to completely rebuild my V0 anyway. Yeah. Hey, like, that's a great way to go. Just get yourself the parts you need so you can get moving, and you can always replace things later. So far, I've only printed ASA on the Mark IV since I got it. I printed a PLA test print, and everything else I printed on the Mark IV since I got it has been ASA. I literally just took the box that the Mark IV came in, flipped it upside down, cut a hole in it for the wire to pass through, and dropped it over top of the machine and created an enclosure. It worked. I have an enclosure. They sent me the enclosure kit, so I will be doing that. I am going to be running Beacon on this, yes. This is getting the Beacon 2, whatever they call that. The one with the built-in accelerometer. Yes. The new version. Sanded that and it's still a tight fit. Yes, indeed. Yes, this is getting Beacon. I had a cartographer probe I was going to run for it because you can run cartographer on CAN, but then when I decided to go to Zoll to run CAN on Zoll, I have to run an EBB36. There's so many considerations in these things, and the EBB36 isn't well suited to supplemental CAN devices because you just have to solder to the CAN terminals on it. I didn't like that. And then I found the 3DO cable from Fabrico, the folks who provided parts for this build. I've heard mixed reviews of the cartographer as well. I'm probably going to put, I know I'm going to put the cartographer on my Mercury 1. It's an open air machine. Most of what I've heard bad about the cartographer is higher temperatures. Supposedly it drifts a lot more than the official Beacon does. Supposedly. As my Mercury 1 is an open air machine and always will be, I have no intention of enclosing that. I'm going to run it on that. Printed parts. I need printed parts. Alright. There's one of the motor mount. One of the motor mounts. And an M3 nut to go in here. All my M3 hardware is on the other side of the studio. I will be right back. Alright, M3 nut. Drop that in. Switch to the camera perspective. Got him. Should use him. So I'm dropping an M3 nut into this so I can use that. That's what it uses for tensioning. You just drop an M3 nut in and then the screw can pull in there. I'm just going to leave that in there for now so it's that M3 nut doesn't fall out of place. And there is a groove in this that'll ride in this extrusion here. Cool. All right. I guess I can put the top of this on now. OBSBot camera, zoom in. Yeah, here. Not the clearest picture because I'm zooming in 3 times optically. Or not optically, digitally, but all right, here we go. Gotta get a couple M5s in there. Okay, I love this little camera. Like, I got it for a sponsor spot, but it's really handy for this stuff, for like live streams. Like this video quality I wouldn't put into one of my regular videos, but for this purpose, it's great. But I'm also really picky about video quality where other folks aren't quite as picky. Do you use glue? If so, what kind? What do you mean? This camera, this is the OBSBot Tail Air. OBSBot Tail Air. Not my most recent video, 2 videos ago, where I set up this streaming setup you're looking at right now, is what I did a sponsor spot for this camera in that. Let me turn it on real quick. Its star feature is it's got tracking. So like, it'll follow me around. I can turn it off and on and it'll follow me around in here and like keep me centered up or whatever. The CNC parts take away a bit of the you know, like the DIY-ness of this. Totally. You're right. And like, I've held off on doing CNC stuff for a while because of that, but I'm just trying to push this machine harder, faster, stronger, so gotta go big. And I mean, this kit's not expensive. Definitely takes away some of the DIY, some of the soul of the machine, some of the rep-rapness. Hopefully some point I can get in a CNC setup and maybe then bring back some of the DIY-ness. You know, CNC your own parts. It's definitely a thing. Bring back the DIY by making your own. Harder, better, faster, stronger is always the way to go. Yeah. Reliable is important, but you're not wrong. Gotta build a Milo. Yep, gotta build a Milo so I can CNC my own parts. Hopefully this year, we'll see. I got these printers to get built. I was tempted to request a Milo kit from Jason from LDO, but then I had at least two builds I knew I needed to get done that they've provided the kits for, like this one. The build kit here was provided by LDO, so I knew this was in the dock, and you know, I didn't want to be requesting things when I didn't get the previous ones done yet. I know, yeah. Physect has a CNC kit. I don't like the CNC parts that I've seen for the Zeros for the most part, except for one. Get a little Loctite on here. I'll show you in a second. I've got it here somewhere close by. I'm going to be running a CNC gantry on my, or not gantry, carriage on my Zero. I like the look of that. Whoop. Yeah, ow. You don't have a CNC? Nope, I don't have any CNC equipment. I do not. Nope, 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 I do not. You know, car stuff, I just never got into that stuff. You use CAD models with CNC, same as you do with, when running a CNC, you're basically, you're running the same concept. You're going to create things in CAD, and then use a CAM tool to run the tool paths, which is creating G-code, same as a 3D printer, for where to remove material instead of add it. I mean, G-code and slicing is all based off of CAM from CNC machines that existed well before 3D printers. CNC has been around for decades. You're not wrong. 3D printers are CNC machines. You're not wrong. Back to the wrong camera. This one. What was I thinking about? Oh, the gantry. Or carriage. I don't like the look of most of the Zero parts. Except this one. Most of them are just like too chunky and heavy looking in my opinion. Except that. So that's the 0.2 carriage. X carriage. Your belts go to this, your tool head mounts to this. I've always found the 0 and the 0.2 carriage, where it all mounts to the rail, to be just a little too giving and flimsy in my opinion. And I feel like a carriage is probably the place. I feel like, I haven't tested this to back this theory up, but I feel like a CNC carriage is probably the place to go with like trying to improve either motor mounting or carriage. Feel like the biggest improvements in my mind. This thing is awesome from Honey Badger. This thing is gorgeous and it's light. It's like almost, if not the same weight as a quality printed part. So the other, like the Physect one they have, it'll be stronger, but it's quite a bit heavier than the stock one. This one is designed to be lightweight. So. Okay. Motor mount? Might as well mount a motor. No. No, not yet. I want to get this other side together. Boop, change cameras. I want to get this side together. So that means bearing stacks. All right. Look at the CAD again so I can figure out the bearing stack. Double bearing stack at the back. That and a better rail made a noticeable difference. Yeah, I'm debating whether I shouldn't get new rails for that. I think I can salvage the rails that are in it. I hope, but I don't know for sure. Jermaine Spencer, you actually caught me live. Welcome. The color match between the anodizing and the printed parts looks so good. It's going to. I was really happy when I saw they had the blue anodized parts here. I just wish I would have gotten the gray brackets. Oh well. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. Yeah, I'm really tempted to see about replacing the rails on my Zero when I do the rebuild. I don't know. I got stainless steel rails in there, but I just think I never lubricated them well enough at the initial onset, and I've got enough hours on it now. Replace the X with a genuine high wind. Maybe I'll look at that. I was tempted to go 9mm on the X, but I don't really... I don't know, but I don't see a need in particular. I'm not looking for that thing to be like the fastest Zero on the planet. I just want it to be a little faster and a little more reliable than it is now. That's all. So... Honey Badger rails in my 0.2 are silent. Yeah, they are. The rails that are in that are from Fabrico, but they're a couple years old. I think they're Honey Badger rails. I forget. They're stainless rails that I got from Fabrico years ago at this point, so I don't know. I don't know. That's when they didn't have a ton of products under the Honey Badger brand, so... I think it's user error, that the reason that they're not great. I don't think it's the rails. Oh, there's a double stack on this side. Okay. Is there? Is there supposed to be a double stack on both? I feel like there might... should be. I'm gonna have to look. Excuse me. No? Nope. Okay. It's wrong. There's not a double stack on both. The CAD model has a double stack of bearings on the one side and not on the other. It's really confusing me, but it's not. Mine only have a few hundred hours on them. My Zero, let me look. I think my Zero's at like 400, 300 hours. Not crazy. But it's been a little crunchy since almost the onset. Oh no, 657 hours. 657 hours on my Zero. And it's been crunchy for like half of that time. So. Iconic, welcome! Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, that's got the bottom. This will be at the top. Will it? How do you track hours? In Mainsail, there's a history. Let me pull it up here. Screen share. Bloop. In Mainsail. So like, here's the dashboard. And then over here, history. 657 hours. And that's honestly, if anybody has a good idea about that, I want to keep that. I really, really want to keep that. So since I'm switching Pis, I'm going to do a fresh install, but I want to try and back up my history and move it to the new install. So I've been trying to figure that out. Or maybe just clone my install, but I'm going from a Pi 2 to a Pi 4, so I'd like to start fresh install. I don't know. I would like to keep that history, because that's my first Voron. That was the first Voron I built. I really want to keep that history. Yeah, so. This seems wrong. Stack doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, that can't be right. I've got these backwards. Okay, I got it backwards. My fault. Easy fix. But I screwed up. Distracted myself with stream too much. How dare I? Okay. This bearing stack should be at the top, not the bottom. And that side should be at the bottom, not the top. Good thing I didn't get much farther than this. Yeah, I'm certain there is a way. I know there's a way to go in there and save your it's in the Moonraker database? Okay. Yeah. I know there's a way to do it. I know there's a way to back it up. I just gotta look at how to do it. extrusion in the back seems a bit off. Just a little. Just a little. We'll get, you know, it's the house on the rock or whatever. It's meant to be that way. It's how I meant it. It's how I meant it to be. Don't look too closely. Okay, now we can get to the side. Now that I got that flipped properly. Motor mount plate. I gotta get the other hex in here. Can you see that? No. Here we go. Bloop. Put a bolt in here temporarily. Let's go like that. Cool. And we'll sandwich with the other CNC parts wherever I put that. I'm sure it's right here. There it is. All right. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I don't know about getting the gantry in here yet. I was hoping to, but I don't know. What are the fancy idlers? Oh, wait. Fuck, I already had roll-ins in there. Oh, wait, I need a roll-in for each of the tensioners anyway. Ha, good. This is the double T kit from Honey Badger, Fabrico. And this is the 9mm CNC kit. So we're going to be running 9mm belts on this with CNC everywhere. CNC motor mounts, carriage, Y carriage mounts, and idlers come in the kit. So beautiful parts, 9mm belt setup. Yeah. Thank you to Fabrico for providing them for this build. You can find a link in the description of this stream to all these parts. Or at least the key parts that I'm using. LDO, 300mm Trident, the CNC parts, hotend, etc. What's the advantage? Wider belt should provide better control over the tool head at higher speeds. They have, if you go to the Fabrico listing for this, there is an input shaper graph showing just like an amazing input shaper. Or a really good looking input shaper graph for this. So like it should allow for higher accelerations because a narrower belt, theoretically, a narrower belt could have more stretch, it could have more give and less grip on the motor shafts. So the wider belt should just allow for better on all fronts. But it's also more mass that's moving. So you know, especially that's more mass. No decent Fabrico reps in Europe. Yeah, unfortunately. Well, hopefully Thiago Double T gets others out there. I think for those international, not US based, I think there are other resources for the kit. But I don't 100% know. I believe Funzor on AliExpress might have the pieces. I think we were talking about that the other day. There's also a 6mm version of these parts, not a 9mm belt setup, so just like the nice cat CNC parts without the... Is that hole too small? Doesn't feel like it wants to slip down in there. I might have to take this off real quick and look at it. Feels like that hole might be too small. My 5mm M5 doesn't want to slip down through it. Sure enough, one of these is drilled wrong. That's an M3 hole. I would, if this was a 2.4, that might be correct, but it's also the rear motor mount, so it's not. Whatever. Gotta break out the drill. Of all your printers, what's consistently been your favorite? My 2.4. 2.4 by a long shot. And my Zero. My Zero has been a close second. Potential end stop with lower A mount. This was intended for sensorless homing, to my knowledge. This was always intended with sensorless homing. I don't know. I may make an end stop mount personally. Don't mind me just breaking out the drill. You just made your Ender 5 Plus cry. Eh. It's among my favorites. It's among my favorites, but it is not my favorite. That's all there is to it. Oh yeah, the big hole here is the big hole's too small for the frickin' M5 to fit down through it too. Well, now that I've drilled it out to M4, let me look at the CAD, make sure I didn't just dive into drilling this out for no reason. Oh, you're right. There's an M3 size hole there down here. But there's not an end stop. So what's the point of that? Oh well. Sensorless and 48 volts with 5160s is a nightmare. See, that's what I'm worried about. That is what I'm worried about. Okay, so this is supposed to be down here, and it's supposed to use an M3. Luckily, I only drilled it out enough for an M4, so... I've got to swap that now? That's annoying. So this is supposed to be here. In place you plan on using a stock M stop location. Yeah. I'm going to have to design like a mount, like a flag off the bottom of this carriage to accept an end stop, but I intend to mount an end stop to this, so I will stick with that. I'm going to have to swap this quick. That's going to be annoying because the shim stacks are both there. Bearing stacks. I keep calling it a shim stack because that's just what I'm used to calling it, but there's no shims. I had to modify my motor mount to use all M5 hardware because of the same thing. Yeah. I am intending to try and get an end stop on here, so it just is what it is. Bloop. I'll switch this. Easy enough to do. Now that I've got the stacks together, I can just transfer them. Don't be like me and jump right to drilling things out. Well. Not gonna hurt anything. I gave up after it started throwing sparks. Whew. I don't blame you. Carrie, welcome! Evening, I guess, yeah, over there it's evening time. Well, it's kind of evening time here now, isn't it? Oh gosh, 5:30. I didn't expect to be going this long. We've been chatting too much. Now I'm still trying to put an M5 screw into that damn M3 hole. Ah, shit. Now I've got an M5 roll-in there where it needs to be an M3. Ugh. I hate trying to take M3 rollouts. I hate getting rollouts out. Roll-ins out. Ha! This one went easy. Woo! Okay, I mean an M3 roll-in. I don't see any, but I do have some. Oh, there they are. Okay. Should have paid better attention. Unfortunately, there's no instructions, so I'm flying by the seat of my pants. And my pants are not doing great today. I took Ruby to the bank earlier in Center City, and I was missing turns left and right. It's just been like that today. Like, I know where I'm going, and then I should have turned there. Oh, I should have turned there too now. All morning. So, I should have known this would happen. Cool. Okay. That started. Screw in here. Okay, now we're back where we were. Just one of those days. It is. It is one of those days. I think it's because somebody woke me up at 7 a.m. Namely, the cat that's sleeping right over there. I wonder if the obs bot can catch her. Let me check. Obs bot camera. Yeah, you can just see her in the corner of the frame there. There's the culprit. There's the culprit. Jean. Nope. She got her paw over her face and everything. She says, nah. No. No. Yeah. We can't have her in the bedroom at night. She's so sweet when we go to bed. She's so sweet when we go to bed. But then 7 a.m. she's up and ready. Come on, time to be up. Time to be up. Everybody up. It's like, no, that is not time for us to be up. Love when my cats let me sleep. All the other cats are fine. It's not, and she's not like, honestly, actually what happened isn't, she didn't wake me up. What happened is, she woke up and was stirring and was wandering around the bed, and then the dog, who's currently staring at me because she wants dinner. Yes, I said the word. She took that as, oh, it's time for everybody to be up. So, you know. Ruby and I are not early risers. We go to bed at like midnight, 1 a.m. and get up 8, 9 o'clock most days. We're both self-employed and, you know, do our own things, so. All right. Now I've got that stack the way it should be. What can I do now? I really should call this soon, but I really wanted to get the gantry in here. I guess we could work on getting the gantry in. I don't know why my YouTube stream on my live feed keeps falling behind. Wife and I are both night owls. Sucks because she has an early job. That does stink. Motors and tensioners. Yes, that would be the logical next step would be motors and tensioners, but I need to cut that down. And I'm not doing that on stream. That's the logical next step, but I can get the tensioners on here. I can do that. Here's a tensioner. Boop. I modified this design, made it a little more double T's in the house. I modified your design for your tensioners. So double T there in the chat is the designer of the CNC setup. Okay, can you tell me, why is there an M3 underneath here? I just had to like flip-flop things and I almost drilled it out to M5. Because I was being stupid. So. For the Y end stop if you install one. Okay, I am going to be putting a Y end stop on, so good to know. I will be putting a Y end stop in, so that's good to know. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I should do. Put this extrusion in. Put that where it's supposed to be. Donations disabled here. Unfortunately, this channel's not monetized because it's too new. So no donations here at all. Yeah, one of the poor business decisions about creating this channel was that there's no monetization. So if you want to help out, please consider getting me to 1,000 subscribers. If we hit 1,000 subs, we'll be a lot closer to getting this channel monetized. So please share this streaming channel with your friends. Mandic Labs, that is. Okay. Yes, and Iconic was asking about the parts here in Europe. I think Fabrico is going to work with 3DO to have them in Europe. Cool. So that's good. That sounds good. I know Fabrico is carrying 3DO parts now, so that's where I got the cable I'm going to be running for this. From 3DO, but through Fabrico. Other tensioner. Yeah. Other tensioner. I need to stop working on my micron while watching you. I keep getting confused as what I'm doing versus what you're doing. Yeah, I bet. I'm getting confused about what I'm doing, so. Oh, can I help you? Can I help you? Dog's trying to jump in. Good thing about the tensioners is they're symmetrical, so you can't get them wrong. Yep, that is good. You want to say hi to everybody? Want to say hi? What she wants is D-I-N-N-E-R. That's what she wants. Hi. Hi. Okay. You got to say hi. Okay, yeah. I've got my motor mounts. I gotta cut these down, though. These were donated by viewer Joshua Murrah. Thank you very much to him for donating the motors I'm going to be using for this build, because LDO was out of superpowers for me, so he sent me these. That's why I just got to cut down the shafts. Very thankful, because that allowed me to get rolling with this build when I was worried about it, instead of having to wait. So, but I'm not going to do that on stream. Good source for bulk. Good source for bulk PTFE wire. I don't have one. I would be happy to hear about one as well. I don't have one, so anybody has can chime in. That would be great for both of us. Cool. Okay. I want to get this in place, so I got to get a couple of roll-ins in there, but I just used. This needs a couple roll-ins. Ah. 2 roll-ins for that. Sure. I'd like to get the whole motion system, like, not necessarily finished, but mocked up in this stream. We've been going for what? 2 hours and 10 minutes. Not so long. Guess it's not as long as I thought it was. Why does YouTube say... No, it says 2 hours and 9 minutes. Weird. 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 It's being weird. Okay. Here's my pieces for this. The 2804s have issues with 48 volts and tend to overheat. I'm considering active cooling on these, not water cooling, but I was planning to design a fan mount and I put a heatsink on the motor, and then the CNC gantry also, or the CNC parts will allow for heat dissipation. So I'm just gonna go with it. We'll find out. If it's a problem, I'll change motors. As far as printed parts for your Voron, do you try to keep them perfect, or do you go with some warpage? I try to keep them perfect these days. I try to keep them perfect these days, but my original, my 0.1 and my 2.4 both have warped parts on them. So, like, you can get going with some warping and get away with it. I wouldn't recommend it long term, but you can do it. Like, you should get water cooling with your... Oh, so is that one of your designs too? The ends. Do you have the Neiman 17 block as well? I just didn't factor in spacing for water cooling stuff on this build, and I'm trying to keep things as like neat as I can. So I'm going to try air cooling the motors. I've got heat sinks somewhere here, so I'm going to mount a heat sink to the bottom of this, and I was planning to mount a fan mount off of the extrusion here, and either blow on or pull air through the heatsink. With the sliding motor mount, that's a little more difficult to do. With a fixed mount of the original design, it's not so hard. I've got Neiman 17 water blocks. These are Vector or V3D, so yeah, VZ bot. So these are for VZ bots, but what are you going to stick the heatsink on with? I'm not. I got heat sinks that have there is a fan mount on printables. I just didn't really love it. I got ones that have holes, so they can be bolted onto a Neiman 17. So I was figuring thermal paste the backside of this and bolt it to the Neiman 17. So we'll see. Might not be a great idea. Meh. Oh, wrong camera. Boop. Yeah, this is the camera I meant. Sorry. Yeah. So that heatsink, just an aluminum heatsink that has holes for mounting to a Neiman 17. So, you know. And then I do have the VZ bot water blocks where I just put them. Oh, right here. There we go. And then VZ bot's same thing. It's got cross pattern bolt holes to water cool. I could do that. I tried reaching out to Alpha Cool about collaborating on a water cooled build. They haven't gotten back to me, so don't know. There's still room. There'll be room to run a water cooling setup in the electronics bay if I want. So if I'm finding a problem, I'll do that. I was kind of thinking having air cooling on the motors would also act as a bit of chamber heating. You know, at least circulation, drawing the heat off of the motors. I was figuring drawing the heat down and like helping it to circulate, and the Nevermore will be here blowing it up. I don't know. You have more parts for a VZ bot than I do. I mean, that's the only parts I have for a VZ bot, but that is not nothing. You're right. It's not nothing. There are now, when I bought those, they were like, there wasn't a lot of water blocks out there for Neiman 17s. Now there are more. I honestly don't love those because they're like open. There's no channels in them. They're just open. What kind of pumps are used for water cooling printers? That's part of the thing. I think I've been water cooling computers for 20 years. Over 20 years. I've been water cooling computers. My computer right now is water cooled. I think that people use junk components when it comes to water cooling and 3D printing. And I'd really like to see that changed. You mentioned this is an LDO kit. Is it a 300? Yes, it is. Sent Discord files I used for air cooling. Thank you very much. So I would get custom loop parts for a water cooling computer setup is what I was looking to do. So a D5 or probably a DDC pump would be plenty on this. I was figuring a 12 volt DDC pump. I could either run a dedicated 12 volt PSU, or I know, because what I am going to be running water cooling on is the blinged out 2.4. The blinged out 2.4, that's what those water blocks are for, is for the 2.4 build. And that is getting a Kraken board. Where is this T-nut? Why can't I line this up? And the Kraken board, I don't know about the Leviathan, but I do know that the Kraken board has provision for 12 volt output and water cooling. Like it was supplying enough power. Should be able to supply enough power. Okay, there it is. AMD or Intel? AMD. I've always been an AMD fanboy. I am an AMD fanboy. Always have been. Alright. Okay, I gotta measure the position of this bar. Kraken and water seems right. Yeah, I didn't even put that together, you're right. Alright, this back bar is supposed to be where? I know it's centered, but 200 millimeters. Supposed to be 200 millimeters. Okay. Recently switched from Intel to AM5 and was a little worried some previous experience with Bulldozer FX wasn't great. Well, Bulldozer was just a bad era. It was just a bad time for AMD. I ran a Bulldozer 8350 for way too long. I ran an 8350 for way too long. Salt water. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. Okay. I feel like this extrusion needs to be shifted a little bit. AM4 was and still is great. Yeah, I'm still on AM4. I haven't gone to AM5 yet. Right now I'm running a I'm running a 5950X right now. 16 core processor. 65 millimeters. A little over 65. That's what I thought. Looks like this could shift just a little bit. Yeah. I guess I can tighten these now. Now I got both sides in. Yeah, I can't bring myself to jump to AM5 yet for the Ryzen 7000 series. Because I need more PCI connectivity. And so realistically, I really need Threadripper. I was holding off for them to come out with new Threadripper. Now they have. And now I'm holding off more because Threadripper is so damn expensive. I can't justify it. However much I really could make use of it. And all that, I just, everything smokes in a corner nervously if compared with an M2. My wife Ruby has an M1 Max MacBook, and I had an M3 MacBook Air. or not MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. I had an M3 MacBook Pro. And just for like the specific work that I do, Mac is still like borderline. They've come a long way. Absolutely. And I like MacBooks. I like the seamless like connectivity of Macs. Like, you know, I have an iPhone, so I can AirDrop from my iPhone to my Mac very easily. Ruby can AirDrop me things very easily. Fusion now has Apple Silicon. Okay, that's good to know, because that was kind of my thing. I'm in Fusion 360 all the damn time. I am pushing it all the damn time. I'm video editing all the time. I game still, but not a lot. I don't have a lot of time for gaming. But like, I do enough of things that are like borderline on Mac yet. Day-to-day work, a Mac would be great for me, but the big stuff, not so much. Alright, I think that's good. I should really try Fusion on Ruby's MacBook. I've been meaning to like bug Ruby to let me borrow her MacBook for a day or two, a couple of days of work, and just see how it goes. So let's change camera angles. This is like 0.5 millimeter off, and it's bugging me. Wait, that's the wrong way. I want to go the other way. Yeah. 0.5 millimeter that away. Yep, too far. Way too far. Hate that. Won't move, way too far. I mean, I used to run Fusion on my iMac from time to time, but like, when you're talking about something like this, a full-on printer build, a complete project with a lot of sketches and a lot of project stuff, you need power. You get to the point where you just need power. You need horsepower, and it is what it is. What I've run into on the Mac so far is VRAM. There's not enough. So like my video editing, I film in 8K, or not 8K, 5.8K. And I run an RTX 3090 in my computer right now. And the only reason I have an RTX 3090 is because it has 24 gigabytes of VRAM. Oh, mesh models. If you load a mesh in Fusion, forget it. It's definitely not an amazing mesh editing program. Okay, I am moving you. That's better. Really need to build a nice PC. Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like, I've got a nice PC, but I need to. I'm outgrowing it. Honestly, right now the thing is, my PC works for me just fine right now. It gets the job done. I could use a little more performance. I could use a little more performance in video editing than what I have now, but it's passable. Where I really need, I need more PCIe lanes, because like right now this stream in particular, I've got two 4K cameras, both downsampling to 1080p and going into my switcher that's over here, and another 4K camera downsampling to 1080 going USB, and that's actually on NDI. The OBSBot is on NDI, so that's not a problem. But I'd like to do a 4K stream. I have a 4K capture card in there, but I can only run one camera then. If I can't put a second 4K capture card in because there's not enough PCIe lanes for it. I'm maxed out on PCIe lanes, so I don't know. And my GPU, my RTX 3090, is only running at 8x right now, PCIe, not 16, because that's when you max out PCIe connectivity on Ryzen, on desktop class CPUs. That's what happens. That's how they can get a little more out of it, because I free up 8 lanes by going 8x on my GPU. You know, is that a big deal? No. Like, it's not like it's a massive performance hit, but it is a performance hit. Okay. Ha! Okay, those were just sitting in there. I need to tighten this. So I need to get through the pass-through in the bottom. Check this, make sure it's where it's supposed to be. 200. Hair. It's like 20 and a hair. Okay, that's good. Tighten. Miss the old times where people were running quad SLI or quad SLI. Yeah. This will be 48 volts on X and Y. This will be 48 volts. Which, now that we have a few people in here, let's revisit that topic real quick. I want excuse me. It's probably starting to be time where I should wind down. I start to lose my voice after like 2 hours on stream. Switch to Fusion. Look back at that model real quick. No, wrong camera. Whatever. I'll leave this one, but go to here. Okay. Electronics bay. So I'm going to have a 24 volt and a 48 volt power supply. Obviously an SSR. The LDO Leviathan mainboard. I need to fit terminal blocks in here somewhere and cooling for the board. There will be chamber cooling, obviously. But I'm debating my orientation for the electronics bay. Any input is welcome. I think I like this orientation here. With the 2 power supplies at the back, the LDO Leviathan right in the middle there, just kind of like chilling on display, because I think it's a gorgeous board and it deserves to be on show. It'll let me run my wiring off to this side, and just have like clean wiring coming out both sides and running away. I think this is the orientation I like right here. Rotating the main board 90 degrees would be better for cooling. That is one of the factors involved here. Let me rotate the Leviathan. So if the Leviathan is a 90 degree turn away, if it's 90 degrees, yeah, I like leaving the mains all shorter with the PSUs at the back. Either way, PSUs are staying at the back. If this is 90 degrees, I can make, like, first of all, this fan blows over the board length a little bit better, but I would probably design a duct with a blower fan that just blows straight across all of this. All the main board, the heat sinks for the stepper drivers, at least. But then now my USB cables have to turn, come forward, go across, turn, go back. I don't know. I'm not in love with it. Doesn't look that big an overall footprint. I mean, 300s are like a sweet spot, I find. Nice. Max it out, please. You want to see with 48 volt. That's the point. I want to max this out. I really want to push this for the hell of it. So, there are heat sinks on the back of the board. Oh yeah, I forgot. There is the heat sink on the back of the board. You're right. Yeah, there is the heat sink on the back of the board. Screen is DSI connection. It's a Waveshare 5-inch screen. So it's over DSI cable, no USB or HDMI going to it, but the DSI port here. So there'll be a ribbon cable from there to here for that. So, okay. The other option is the way Double T intended this panel is to have the power supplies at the back, but one on each side. And then I could put the board in the middle. But I kind of like, take a second to load here. I kind of like this with the PSUs back there. Then mains voltage comes in, can go to here, it can go to each of these. And then my 48 volt and my 24 volt can both come off of here and run along this side to go in and out on the board. Probably have to run the 24 volt under the board and come up on this side, but that's okay. Yeah, I was thinking I could stick a fan behind the screen for more airflow with the board oriented the other way. Yeah, when the board oriented this way, there's enough room, I could fit a fan. I could actually fit a fan inside of here, and then it would draw fresh air from here. I didn't even think about that. The fan can draw fresh air. Yeah, the DSI cable will be most out of the way this way. The USB cables will be out of the way here, and I didn't think about that. I could actually tuck a blower fan into here. It'll pull fresh air in, and then it can blow straight across here. And then these fans can just do bulk cooling for the whole electronics bay. That's a great idea. Thank you, Carrie. I didn't really think about that. I was picturing putting a blower fan here and blowing over toward this, but I like that a lot better. Okay, that decides it. That's what we're doing. Okay, I'll play with that because I got to order. This bottom panel is all aluminum. This is from Double T as well. This bottom panel is a sheet of aluminum. So it'll be a really rigid mount. I don't need DIN mounts. I don't need DIN rails, none of that. But it does mean that I'm going to need to decide where I want all this stuff so I can put holes in and tap them and drill and tap everything. And I'd like to get that done by the laser. So thank you. I'm going that way. All right. Decision made. Okay. This is in. This is in and tight. Let's get the gantry in. Let's get the gantry in, and maybe we'll call it after that. This is not, I think this is a linear rail. Have the same bottom panel on my custom V430 all-wheel drive. Rad. Aluminum. Yes, aluminum, Carrie. I know. Aluminum. Get over it. Don't care. Best thing with the panel being that way, you can pick it up from the corners and not worry. Oh yeah, it's tying all the corners together really nicely. That makes sense. Oh, nope, this is linear rail. I will show you this though. Physek sent this over. Let me get it out of here. It's still in the packaging. Physek provided the linear rail and the X gantry for this project. We're running CNC X gantry. But this linear rail is one of their hollow linear rails they provided. Hollow linear rail for lighter weight. Chasing grams on this build. Wow, this really does feel so much lighter. Let me switch cameras. Bloop. So, regular linear rail on this side. Bloop. The back side is milled out. So, it's all milled out on the back side to reduce weight. How much are you saving? Not a ton, I don't think. Let me pull out a scale real quick and I'll check. Pull out a scale and we can check for ourselves. I don't know where my scale got to. Oh, right. That was the point of organizing things. It has a place in a drawer now. It has a place in a drawer. Thank you, Physek. This is linked in the description as well. They provided this rail for this build. Okay, MGN 12 rail for the X-axis. These are like, they're definitely pricier. 222 grams. 222 grams? Where's the... There it is. Stainless steel rail. That is a stainless steel rail. So is this one from LDO. the regular MGN 12 that LDO provides with this kit is 272 grams. So a 50 gram weight savings just with this rail. Is that a big deal? Is it worth the extra cost? I don't know. I keep looking to that camera when you folks are over here. How many V0s do you have? I have 2 at the moment. One I've got to give away. One I need to give away. I'm going to be building a third, hopefully this week yet. So soon-ish I'll have 2, hopefully. Get rid of 1, give away 1, and then have 1. Damn it! I didn't put the nut bar in here. I didn't put the nut bar in. I just tightened that up. I didn't put the nut bar in. Are they preloaded rails? Yes, you can pick your preload. 50 gram here, 50 gram there, 500 altogether. Exactly. That's why I'm running Zoll, the Zoll toolhead. Part of why I'm going to be running the Zoll toolhead is it's lighter. It's much lighter than Stealth Burner. It's like, what, over 100 grams lighter than Stealth Burner. So, you know, I didn't want to run it. I don't like the way it looks, but it's going to allow me to play around with different hot ends and extruder combinations, and it's lighter. I'm also going to be running a CNC toolhead carriage on this. So the actual part that the Zoll will mount to is CNC. I'll take the extra V0, yeah. Now, I did a giveaway forever ago that I never really completed. I gave away 1 printer. I talked about giving away a second one. So technically, I know where that's going to end up. I just got to do it. I've held off for too long. Okay, back in this goes. LDO, with the LDO kit, uses these nut bars, which they're great. Instead of running roll-ins, they stiffen up the extrusions a little bit. Like, great idea. You just got to remember to put them in. Just got to remember to put them in. And I didn't have that one in there. Like a chump. You folks have seen me mess up a couple times now. Where the hell? There we go. All right. I think Zoll will grow on me. I do think you're right. The more I look at it, I really like the idea. I also really like the idea of this being a test platform where I can try new hot ends and stuff, and Zoll will allow me to like quickly change things. I can see that. So I do think it's going to grow on me. I think you're right. The configuration I'm going to run first on this is a VZ. Hey, Zombie Hedgehog, welcome. The configuration I'm going to run first on this is a Fadus UHF hot end, Fadus Dragon UHF, and a VZ extruder. I've had that for a while and I haven't had a project to use it on, so I'm going to throw it on here. But I also have a slice hot end that I'm heavily considering playing with. A slice Mosquito Magnum with a Volcano heater block on it. So I want to see which one of those flows better, the Dragon or the slice. Mosquito. Nope. Too far that way. Do you have a Goliath? I don't have a Goliath. I have, no, I don't have a Goliath. I don't have any relationship with Mello. Mello has never sent me any products, and I don't like, I don't want to bug Simon for things, because I don't think Simon gets things for free to provide for projects. And I don't want him to have to like lay out money to me, or like to send me parts. So all right, let me check that. 20, 20, 20, 20. You have Goliath, still haven't built anything fast enough. Yeah, I've got the CNC VZ Team Mercury 1. I have the Mercury 1 CNC gantry set up for VZ toolhead. You can stick the large Magneto X hot end. You're right, I could do that. I've been tempted to try and adapt that to something else. We should do a Magneto stream and play with that a bit. I have this for my Mercury 1, but I'm just going to run a Revo high flow on it. I'm just going to run a Revo high flow. Or maybe if I do end up putting the... I talked about this very early in the stream. If I end up putting the Next G hot end, this is the Drop Effect Next G hot end I designed to mount to put it into a Stealth Burner original print head. If I put this in my 2.4, I'll have a Rapido. That's what's in there now. I'll have a free Rapido, so I might put a Rapido with the adapter onto the Mercury 1 for a little more flow. I don't know. Yes. When the extrusion blocks his eyes, looks a bit like RoboCop. I can see that. I can see that. How do you like the Mercury 1, the Magneto so far? My Magneto is a beta unit. Mine is a very early beta unit, and as such, I've had a lot of issues. They are all like, how do I put it? I don't see that as necessarily a very bad thing. I think the machine has a ton of potential, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I think the majority of the potential is in the software. They need to work on like dialing in software a bit. The hardware side of it seems really solid. We've made a handful of changes and improvements since I got the machine. So like, that's the problem. I haven't had enough time with it because like when they shipped it to me, us early beta testers who got them, they shipped it fully assembled. Dutch Dude's here, 0G, welcome. We were just talking about my Mercury 1 and the VZ toolhead that I have for it. The Magneto X. Mine being an early beta unit, wrong printer. They shipped it with the bed installed in it. That's like one of the things. So it rode all the way from China to me with the full huge bed in it, and it bent all 4 of the bed brackets. So then I had to wait for them to send me new bed brackets. And then they updated the CAN toolboard on it, so I had to wait for them to send me that. And like, I haven't had a lot of time to use the machine at this point, is what I'm trying to say. Because that's between me working on projects for videos. That seems to be everyone's consensus on the Magneto so far. Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of potential there, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll have time to do a stream. I've got an enclosure to put on the Magneto, so I'd like to do a stream where we like just play with the Magneto, make some time for it, put the enclosure on it. Dutch Dude, you've got the you got a Mark IV. I just got the Mark IV in. I have an enclosure to put on it. I want to do a stream on the enclosure soon on here. Yeah. Like the hot end, I have the large hot end in it right now, so I can't show you. Let me see if I can grab another one quick. Here we go. Here we go. So this is the Magneto X standard hot end. This is the one that it ships with, I believe. And it's longer than a volcano. It uses a volcano nozzle, but a volcano nozzle only comes to about there, and then it's a little longer than that. There's also the shorty one. So that one is like a standard volcano block length. I have the long boy, we've been calling it. I have the long boy in there. Yeah, that's the problem, and that's kind of why I try to watch my words. That's why I try to watch my words about the Magneto. Is like, I love that they sent them out and they got some of us out in the community to test them and give them input and be like, hey, because this is their first go at making a machine like that. So I like that they did that, and I like that they're listening to our feedback. They are really listening to our feedback. That's great. But I try to watch my words about it because I don't want to scare people off. Like now, the bed thing. Okay, my bed shipped installed and it bent and it messed up. Beta testing should usually be done privately, absolutely. And that's like hard part. Is like we weren't allowed to talk about it until like 2 weeks ago. I've had it for a couple months, honestly. I think 2 months now, maybe. But like the bed thing, it shipped with the bed installed and it bent all the brackets. Well, they both reinforced the brackets so they're stronger now, and they also ship it with the bed not installed now. So you have to install the bed, but that takes that issue out of the way. Like anybody who bought one of the machines will not have that problem. So I don't feel bad talking about that because, like, hey, that's not a problem you're going to have. We figured that out. Whatever. Thoughts about Drop Effect. I like the Drop Effect products. That's another one that I'm hesitant to talk about right now. I emailed the owner of Drop Effect and was a little unkind about some stuff. The Next G, the Drop Effect Next G comes with a dragon style heatsink on it now, and I don't like it. I like the square frame that Drop Effect had before a lot. So that's what I have here is the square frame, but these aren't available to the public. I got an early unit that came with square frame, so I don't know. I basically asked them, please release the square frame. I think it is a better product. So I got sidetracked a while ago from putting the gantry in this thing. There's the heat press inserts, screws. I prefer Dragon mounting, which worked well with Dragon burner. Here's the thing. I get that. I get why they went with Dragon. I get it. They wanted, my opinion, purely my opinion, they did not tell me this. I think they went with Dragon mounting because it'll drop into a ton of existing toolhead setups. No custom one needed to work with it. Here's the problem. This is a standard stealth burner printhead. So no UHF, it's not long. You know, it's not longer. It is a standard printhead. But this has the UHF adapter in it. So this is now a UHF hot end. Supposedly, I have not tested this. They claim 45 millimeters cubed per second out of this hot end. So if I put a CHT in it, potentially I'm in the mid to upper 40s on flow rate. Realistically. In the same stealth burner package. The problem is the Dragon frame won't fit in here. With the Dragon frame, you have to go to the UHF stealth burner, so you lose Z build height. Same thing is true on the V0. I was able to make this one, the square frame version of it, fit into a V0 mini stealth burner with the UHF adapter. So I think this could potentially be the highest flowing V0 hot end on the market without having to sacrifice build volume. but it only works with the square frame. It doesn't work with the dragon frame. So yeah, Iconic, that's the second best option, or that's the other option. That's the other option is the, like for the V0, I love the E3D hot end in the Bamboo. I would consider running it in that as well. So that's a great option. And that's the secondary option for that configuration. I don't know. Running the normal config, flow seemed fine for me. Yeah, the problem for me is I have a Rapido in my 2.4 right now, and I'm flow rate limited. I need more flow. So I put that together because I want to prove the point. I want to put it together with that ultra high flow variant and provide data and be like, look, this is a great configuration, but I really feel like the problem is, how do I put it? I've had quite a few people when looking at the Next G hot end ask me, why would I buy this over any other Dragon option, like the Dragon Ace from Triangle Lab or a bunch of other options that are half the price of that one? And the only real answer I have for them is that Drop Effect has a really nice quality design. It's really nice quality. I really think that they make a nice product. The kinematic coupling on the heat break should be really good for temperature differentials, and I think has a real potential to be a solid performer through a wide range of temperatures. But it's also $100, and you could pick up another Dragon for half that price. A lot of people aren't going to see that benefit. I think with the square frame, it's a unique product that provides some unique stuff that others don't. That's where I'm at, personally. I said, hey, this is my feedback. This is what I think. Don't take it like it's not the gospel. It is what it is for you. From what I've heard, the Bamboo clones with the removable nozzles are quite good. I really don't like them. The only issue are electronics, meaning you should get the original thermistor and heater from Bamboo. But yeah, but the Bamboo heater is kind of subpar power-wise. I need blocks. I need my heater blocks. Or that's heating up. I've defaulted to Rapido lately as well, and Revo High Flow. Those have been my defaults right now, but I'm definitely looking for what the next option is. I don't know. I try a lot of different stuff. Like, I like the Dragon. I run the Dragon in my Zero. It's a little flow rate limited. Rapido 2.0 is the same heater, but better. Yep. The release version of the Next G uses that same type of heater. The Drop Effect Next G uses that type of heater for the release version of it. I don't know where I put these printed parts. I printed them for the gantry. I know I printed the gantry parts. Oh, still in the bed? Yep, still in the bed. Still on the bed. I'm going to be running a Roto Revo with the Duet Roto toolhead on my new Merc build. That sounds cool. I've got a Roto Revo here, and I'm debating what to put it on. I really love Revo. I love Revo. I really like it for a lot of things, but you ran the Bamboo X1 hot end in your 0.2 and you found the cheap King Rune V6 clone with ceramic heater better. Really? I'm kind of shocked by that, honestly. I'm honestly a bit shocked by that. Alright, I gotta press some heat inserts here. Yeah, Zombie Hedgehog, hit me up. We can talk about it. I can show you what I'm talking about a little bit better. Like, just ranting on a stream is a little hard to explain. I've really got to put together... Adam at Vector 3D sent me over one of his press setups. You know, the VLMP press, the heat press insert tool. I've really got to set it up. I almost streamed that before doing this today. Smart Orbiter 3. I have a Smart Orbiter 3 too, and I also don't know where to put that. I have too many parts, not enough builds right now. And honestly, I just don't have time for all these builds. So, that's a thing. Once you build that, you'll regret not doing it. Yeah. He also sent me the CNC kitchen. Sent me Stefan's heat press insert tools for it. And they are definitely nicer than the Amazon special ones that I use right now. Like, way nicer. I was like, how much nicer could they actually be? Oh, they are. Yeah, like these heat press tools that I have off Amazon are like too close to the inside diameter of like an M3 insert. So half the time, not half the time, but like if I get a bad run of M3 inserts, they'll stick to the insert tool and like try to pull out after I press them in, and it's a real pain. The CNC kitchen ones, perfect. Not too loose, not too tight, never stick. I just got to put that together. Maybe I'll stream that tomorrow. I'm kind of in between projects on Mandic really right now, so I'm debating what my next project's going to be, so I'm kind of just like getting some of these projects that have been piling up out of the way. I know Iconic has that beautiful stealth press. Yep. Yeah. I was wondering why I'd want one, but after getting it perfect every single time, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I get that. Okay, gantry time. Time for the lightweight CNC gantry from Physect. Oh yeah, 0G. I just ordered one of these as well for the. I ordered one off AliExpress for my my 0G, my Mercury one. Yeah. Naomi has that one she created too. Unfortunately, it was hard to... nice from Physect, yes. I definitely got the Physect one. I remembered when we talked. I was waiting because for the longest time I didn't see Physect having the... I didn't see them have the bigger one for the Ender 5 Plus. But they do now, so... Oop, need longer screws there. What size are those supposed to be? Yeah, I figured it would take a little while, but I was checking AliExpress for other stuff last week, and I was like, oh, let me check for that. And I found that they did have it, so I ordered one. Where's the X carriage here? I could just measure this, but... That's calling for M310s. But those aren't fitting for me. Let me check. Oh, M3... No, the bottom. That's a 30, but this can't be 30. Now we're waiting for them to produce pro sizes again. Of course, of course. Finishing up projects for Remurf. I need to find a sponsor for Remurf. I can't justify going if I can't get a sponsorship for it, and unfortunately at the moment, I'm not going. I really want to. I want to make it happen, but I got to get a sponsor. So, okay, this bottom, where's my calipers? Calipers. Okay, this is 10 millimeters thick. So if I want to go into that, what, 5 millimeters? So a 16, seems like, M5 16. Ah. Trident, what does it call for? M520? Double T, you in the chat? Is it supposed to be an M520 on the underside of the gantry? The X carriage? X gantry? I think so. Do I have M520s here? Probably not. I have them, I just don't know if I have them here. M516 seems like it'd be good. Oh yeah. M516 seems like it'll work. I could be wrong. Oh, the gantry on this underside, is this supposed to be M520 or M516? 16, okay. I think the Fabrico page says M520, but it doesn't say what it's for. It doesn't list an M516, but 16 seems to be the right size to me, as I'm just threading it in there. Cool. Okay. That seemed to work. Thank you. Back to the grill. Back to it. Thank you. Okay. Now I need to do bearing stacks on these so I can get the other side up. Okay. So these get a plane. Bloop. Gets a plane spacer right there. Hey, liking the new space? Wonderful. It's so much better. It's really nice to work in. I'm still organizing, but now like I know where most things are living, so I can like jump to a toolbox generally and find things right away, which is so very nice. Okay, so there's a blank one back here. Blank one here. Let's switch to the ob spot and get a bird's eye view on what I'm doing. Oh, I think I went too far. Yeah, that's a little better. These blue pins are beautiful. I was saying Hector got me the black brackets, not the gray ones. I really wish it was the gray ones, but like it's still nice. I'm not gonna complain, that's for darn sure. Oh, look, a gift horse in the mouth. Iconic, awesome. Thank you for being here, and watch out. I will definitely have some. Oh, there are no gray brackets. Okay. Yeah, some of the lighting in the pictures I think led me to think there were gray ones, but that makes sense. Only the pins and shims change color. Okay, that makes sense. Iconic, thank you for being here. I will definitely post more about this. There'll be more streams. There'll be more streams, and we will definitely post some more. What I am finding, Double T, you weren't here when I was doing this before, I don't think, but I'm having to, just to get things to slip together a little nicer, I think the anodizing is a little thick. I feel like these were probably machined to the right diameter and then anodized, which adds just a little thickness to them. So I've been doing that. The sides that get the bearings, I've been giving them just a little knockdown on the pin diameter, so I can get them. Yep. Now it slips on there beautifully. It's just a little too tight without that. All right, that goes there. Use the space gray and they fit perfect. Okay, that's good. Might just be me. Who knows? Honestly, it's fine. I'm used to, like, pins usually have to do this with pins too. So, like, it feels the same as using, like, pin mod to me. I was able to tap the first one or two together with a hammer, just like tapping on the race lightly, but I was worried that it wouldn't allow the bearing stack to kind of float on the pin. I was worried it wouldn't let the bearing stack float just a little bit for misalignment and movement, so I started doing this. Yeah, now that's a beautiful fit now. Okay, and this one goes here. Okay, now I can put the top side of that on. This is that side. Why does it seem like that's not... Oh, okay. Huh. I realize that one doesn't have a guide point on it. I didn't notice that. So does that get a shim? That gets a stack of shims. Not the lightweight beam. Yeah, well, we're trying to push this thing more, so we're going to run that for now. We'll see if it doesn't work out long term. We're chasing grams in this build, so kind of is what it is. Let me check this. XY joints, XY joint, hardware, pin spacer, the 9mm belts will do a lot. Yeah, I'm honestly the tiniest bit worried. I'm a tiny bit worried that the 9mm belts are going to do some damage to this gantry. we're going to find out whether or not they're going to be a little bit mean to it. Ha! Drop my shims. I dropped my shims. This one doesn't have a... Most of these have little... if I can get this in the lighting, there you go. Little nubs. But this front one doesn't, so it's just getting that... screw it on first. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're right. That'll make it a lot easier. Duh. So, you get the fancy little washer. That can go through my bracket. I can take this stack off of here. Easier to install. That makes sense. Okay, now I can get this together. Hey, look at that. Now that fits down into its seat and the rest can sit. Awesome. Thank you. More 16s. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Gantry time. Gantry screws, top screws. The Loctite. Glad could help between flipping burgers. Hey, it's great having you here. Have an additional resource for some input. Or the resource for some input. You know, I haven't really referred to the Voron guide pretty much this whole stream. Go with the K3, an annex build. I'd like to do an annex build. I'd love to at some point. We'll see. You know, there's only so many hours in the day, and only so many hours in the day, and I already have enough trouble getting the builds done that I got on my plate. I've got this one, got another 2.4, a 0, and then a couple more, hopefully. Can't really talk about, but we'll see. And then all the regular video content that I'm trying to produce. So I'm trying not to do videos about builds anymore, which makes it hard. We are spoiled for choice right now. You are right. We are spoiled for choice right now. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Alright, get the stack on. Yes, that one's still a little tighter fit. It's okay. I'd rather be tight than loose, of course, but... Alright. Opposite side. Front one down. Oh, I gotta screw that in. Couple shims. I don't think I got to see an annex at Smurf. I didn't get to see much at Smurf, so hopefully next year. Yeah, unfortunately, I was looking before stream, and it does seem like inventory on LDO kits is hard to get right now. Alright. There's that one. Am I missing a pin somewhere? I don't think so. Seems like I have an extra one. Old guy melts plastic, built a gorgeous K3, great two-tone color scheme. Cool. I've seen some, they seem neat. Maybe someday. Definitely not knocking it, that's for sure. We'll see. I've got some other plans in the works right now I want to get to. Other plans in the works right now. Where's my last bearing? There it is, hiding under a bag. Looks like Manchester this year, so much better music than Oxford. Yeah, when I went to Smurf, two of my favorite bands of all time need to do a bit of an upgrade. Okay, so they're looking to do the Rev D on the Trident kits, I guess. I've been hearing they're looking to do the Leviathan and Nighthawk. Jason hasn't said that. That's just the rumor that other people have said. To me, anyway, he hasn't said that. Smurf, I really wanted to see. There were two bands playing in England at the time. They were both touring. Well, not touring. One was only doing one show. And I'm pretty sure it was in Manchester. I'm pretty sure. Can't remember. Coxbar and Madness were both playing that same week of Smurf. And I was so close to just being like, screw it, I'm going to do that. I'm going to like wander around England and go see my favorite bands. I just couldn't justify it. It was just too expensive. Just too expensive to do the whole thing. Mostly hotels were the big problem. Like transit around England I found it to be amazing compared to the US. But what do you call it? Getting to and from wasn't the problem. It was hotels. Hotels were expensive. So trying to get a hotel each place I was going to have to go and whatever was not a great time. But I think it was Manchester where they were playing. There was somewhere that like, there was definitely somewhere on the tour where I could see both Coxbar one night and Madness the other night, the second night. So like back-to-back days. Okay, time to get all these M3s in. I'll switch to the OBSBot for a better view. On what I'm doing here. I gotta put these in. Beautiful little cap-offs. Central London hotels are prohibitive. Yeah, I spent 1 or 2 nights in London after Smurf. I did go do that, and I paid pretty dearly for it. It wasn't, honestly, it wasn't that expensive. I stayed at the on the West End, I think. I was like right off the West End where all the theaters are. And I want to say I paid like $200 a night US, maybe 200 pounds, might have been 200 pounds, I don't remember. So not cheap by any means, but like honestly a decent hotel in the US these days is about that much. Like I'm looking at hotels for Rocky Mountain Rep Rap and they're like 100 150 a night, and that's like nowhere, Colorado. Not nowhere, Loveland is not nowhere, but it's not London. But yeah, stuff was expensive enough that I just could not justify it. Like the place I stayed during Smurf was a rat hole. It was so bad, but it was the cheapest place in Oxford. Stay on the outskirts. Yeah, I only had, I would normally do something like that, but I only had a day or two in London. I forget how long. I had such a short period of time that I just couldn't justify being outside. Would I go to Smurf again? I am absolutely going to try and go to Smurf again. I really enjoyed Smurf as an event. I think they did a really good job for their very first Rep Rap Festival. I think they did a great job with it. And it was great to get to see parts of my audience that I otherwise wouldn't have a chance to see. Folks like Carrie I got to chat with, and, you know, just people that I otherwise wouldn't have a chance to talk to. And it was my first time in England, and I really enjoyed England, so I quite enjoyed it. So I will absolutely try and go again this year. The thing is, last year I paid for everything out of pocket, going to events everywhere and travel and everything, and you know, it's a business expense, sure, but like still cost me money. This year I need to get everything sponsored. I can't justify doing it again this year without getting things sponsored to at least offset the cost, if not cover the costs. It's not a smart business decision otherwise. So hopefully I will be going again. Now there's bearings instead of pulleys. Yes, they are just smooth bearings instead of cogged pulleys. So some people claim that has print artifact issues. I don't know. I'm not expecting this to be my highest quality printer. I'm expecting it to be my current fastest printer. Alright, I gotta put the ones in the bottom too. Gosh, this stuff is beautiful. It is beautiful. Can we see good from this angle? Not really. I don't want to keep moving the camera over and over again. Hope we get some nice input shaper accels. I'm expecting some serious acceleration recommendations. I'm going to be real disappointed if not. Yeah, I wonder about the lightweight gantry too. I really do. But we'll see. I wish the common anomaly gantry, unfortunately, doesn't come in a 9mm version. So unfortunately, I wish they make a 9mm version of that. Then I could run that and get best of both worlds-ish. Not that theirs is actually that much lighter. It's beautiful. Come on, Loctite. I think this one's getting low. I gotta order the gel. Alright. So close to achieving what I wanted to achieve today. I wanted to get the motion system largely together so I can like mock up the electronics bay in real world and look at it. But now I think we've got a pretty good game plan after chatting earlier, so Oh, looks like I can't put a washer on that one. Too close to the side. Oh, double T. I think I've got an extra pin. Did I miss something? There's 2 at each here, the fronts, and then 4 at each end. So I guess maybe just an extra pin? I don't know. Oh, it comes with 2 extra. I think I only got 1 unless it rolled off the bench. Maybe I can make them up as standoffs or something. Thank you for including extra. and you have one that's not necessary with the XY. Yeah, I kind of wondered. I kind of wondered why there were so many pins in the XY here. Do you mean this front one isn't necessary? I mean, like, it's overkill. I see that. But how much weight is it costing me, really? You know, I am chasing grams, but the only pin without a bearing. Did I miss something? No, there's the pin back here without bearings. More blue the better. Yeah, it's gonna have a good look. There's the 2 pins without bearings, aren't there? Unless I screwed up. I might have screwed up. Screwed up a couple times on the stream. Carrie, thank you for being here. Appreciate having you. Thank you for coming around. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it very much. And we'll catch you in the next stream. Well, I assume. Worse aerodynamics, you are not wrong. Oh, okay. Looking from the front. I got it. Yeah, I see that. Whatever. Whatever. Oh yeah, I'm getting low on Loctite. Am I out of... Was I not supposed to put all the washers on the bottom too? Seems like I wasn't. Seems like I wasn't, because that doesn't look like I'm going to have enough for the top of the motor mounts. I know one doesn't fit, but I seem like I'm way short on the fancy washers, if that's the case. So I'm just not going to put them on the bottom. I definitely saw that one doesn't fit on each side. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to take the ones off the bottom, put regular bolts down there. That's fine. Nobody will see them. Not as much anyway. Top's where the pretty's at. Top's where the pretty is at. What? This one's stuck. All right. Lighter weight anyway. Gram chasing. Now you got me thinking about taking out that front one. Maybe later. Whew, I am so close to out of Loctite. So close to out. I'm not going to save that much weight with it. Fuck it. Alright. Oh, gotta take these out. Oh yeah, I can't square the gantry up yet. I haven't centered these rails yet, so... Alright, I have to hold off on that. Alright, we're just about done for this stream, I think. I'd hope to get just a little further, but I think we did achieve quite a bit here, so I'm not sure that I'm particularly upset about this. We've got our gantry loosely in place with our CNC brackets on each end, our front idlers in, our motor mounts. Where's my mouse? Yeah, we've got our motor mounts, our tensioner pieces in place. Let me zoom out. Frame is all squared up. I'm just about ready to move on to the Z-axis. Double T, thank you for being here and providing technical support for the project. Excellent to have you here. 3 hours and 30 minutes. I intended to stream for 2 hours, so we went way past. Not mad about it. We made good progress. So, all right, folks. I think that's where we're going to call it on this one. First build stream on the LDO 300 cube Voron Trident. There are links in the description to all the parts that were used so far in this project. Help if I change the camera angle. LDO provided the Trident kit. Thank you very much to them. Fabrico provided the Double T CNC kit for the 9mm belts we're going to be running on this. Physek provided a lightweight gantry and their lightweight hollow linear rail. And more to come. LDO Leviathan, Fadis high flow dragon hotend on a Zoll toolhead. So I want to get this build done ASAP. I want this machine up and running. I need another machine. I rely heavily on my Voron 2.4 right now, and I need another machine when I'm in crunch time on a project that I can like send parts to. So yeah. I did see Chaotic Lab has a lightweight CNC kit that they're coming out with. I don't really have much use for it other than maybe on my current 2.4, but because Physek provided a CNC kit for my other 2.4 build I'm going to be doing. Hopefully, maybe, we'll see. But yes, here we are. Thank you folks for being here. Thank you for watching, hanging out, having an excellent chat. I really appreciate it. It's been a wonderful engaged chat stream. I love it. Thank you, folks. Hello from the UK. Hello, Mr. O. Thank you for being here. Remember, this is the stream channel, Mandic Labs. So if you're not subscribed, please do. Mandic Labs. Hit subscribe, like the stream, let folks know about it. Trying to get to over 1,000 subscribers so we can work our way to monetization and I can justify these streams a little bit more because right now they're taken away from the Mandic Really videos that actually make my living. So... love this, want to keep doing it. We'll see if we can keep doing it. We're definitely going to get through this project at the very least. So thank you folks for being here. Thanks everybody for tuning in around the world. I appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Just going to turn up the music. Give it a second. See you folks.